Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 10 PIW. Chapter 261. This is the site of Lousy. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Quickly, go and notify Captain Horty Jones. The pirate guards were shocked. Faced with the intrusion of Whitebeard and Marine, no one dared to stop them. Whitebeard's advancing in the sea water sprinted like a rocket, constantly setting off waves of water in the surrounding sea. Being dragged by Whitebeard with the force of the shock, even the Marine soldiers on the Marine warship were stunned. They stood on the deck of the warship staring blankly at the sight flashing by. Is this the Fishmen Island? Is it so beautiful? This Whitebeard is really amazing. It's worthy of being 4 emperors. It took us to the Fishmen Island without coding. Yeah, it's terrible, but fortunately, there should be no danger for us following him. Marine soldiers all talked, marveling at Whitebeard's methods, and at the same time they felt awe and admiration for him. For these Marine soldiers, since they can be selected on these 5 warships, they naturally have no deep hatred against the pirates. And Whitebeard is also very good to them, and basically will not embarrass them, which makes them feel very transgressive. Therefore, the minds of these Marine soldiers have been quietly changing unknowingly, and are changing subtly. Whitebeard marched on San Juan all the way, and the surrounding pirates didn't care about it, and moved directly towards the center of the Fishmen Island in the forefront. Advertisement. Soon, Whitebeard and others came to the Fishmen Island, and the general ship stopped. San Juan, your body is too big, just stay here for now, don't walk around until I come back. Whitebeard said to him after getting off San Juan. This is already the Fishmen Island, and there are many buildings on it. Whitebeard worried that San Juan's huge body would cause trouble to the residents here, so he let him wait in place. Okay, Daddy, San Juan replied obediently, and then sat down on the spot. Whitebeard nodded, and then looked around, even though it was already controlled by the ants' forces. However, the real ruler of the Fishmen Island since ancient times is the Dragon Palace imperial family, and their real enemies are actually Horty Jones and Van der Deeken X. Horty Jones is the captain of the new Murloc pirate group, and Van der Deeken X is the captain of the Flying Pirate group. The two captains unite to resist all humans and the Murlocs that are related to humans. The residents on the Fishmen Island quickly noticed Whitebeard, and most of these people knew Whitebeard. Oh my god, it is Whitebeard, one of the 4 emperors. Why did he come in person? Is he here to take back jurisdiction over the Fishmen Island? These fish people have speculated about the purpose of Whitebeard's coming here, but in any case, they are very surprised by this. Because a captain of the 4 emperors came here personally, this should be very rare, which shows how much Whitebeard attaches importance to here. Whitebeard walked step by step. In the center of the Fishmen Island is the Dragon Palace Kingdom where the royal family lives. Whitebeard plans to go here to see the situation first. However, the fish people around when they saw Whitebeard didn't seem to be malicious towards them, and some daring began to approach Whitebeard. Advertisement. One of the Murlocs ran up to Whitebeard and knelt down and said, Master Whitebeard, I beg you to be the master for us, the Dragon Palace Kingdom is under persecution. Seeing that there were Murlocs coming forward, other Murlocs were also preparing to come forward and tell, but some were also stopped. Shut up. Those who are close to humans will be directly executed by Captain Horty Jones. That guy dares to do anything, even the portrait of Princess Uhime dare to trample on him. The grievances of these Murlocs, Whitebeard is in his eyes, and his purpose of coming this time is to save the Fishmen Island. Everyone, don't worry. Whitebeard spoke suddenly and wrapped the effect of the sound wave with the power of shaking, so that his voice could be heard by all the Murlocs in this area. Sooner or later I will become the Pirate King of the Sea, the captain of the Whitebeard pirate group. Today, I will reclaim the rule of the Fishmen Island, and I will destroy everything that threatens the Fishmen Island. Whitebeard's voice was like a god of heaven, and all the Murlocs cheered immediately after hearing it, although being ruled by Whitebeard or the ant was in a protected state for them. After all, with the existence of the 4 emperors level, other forces dare not threaten the Fishmen Island. But compared to the ant, the Fishmen Island obviously prefers Whitebeard, because shortly after ruling the Fishmen Island, the ants' envoys forced them to build a dessert factory. 0 seeking flowers, 0. The establishment of a large dessert processing factory also consumes a lot of resources in the Fishmen Island, and the factory processes desserts day and night, all of which are to pay tribute to the ant. If this is the case, after all, it should be tribute to the Guardian, but now the Ant's envoy actually indulges Hody Jones's destruction of the Fishmen Island. Captain Whitebeard, you are simply our savior. Please be sure to defeat Hody Jones and the Van der Daken X pirates. They are the chief culprits threatening the Dragon Palace Kingdom. The fish people came forward one after another, grateful to Whitebeard. Advertisement. Whitebeard has never heard of the names of these two small characters. Of course, you don't need to care about the names. Isn't the Ant taking over the Fishmen Island? Since she is guarding the Fishmen Island, then she doesn't care. Whitebeard asked. Hey, you don't know. It is said that our king also asked an envoy of the Ant for help, but the envoy said that this belongs to the internal competition of the Fishmen Island. And they are only guarding hostile forces from outside the Fishmen Island, so let us solve it ourselves. While talking, the Murloc also shed tears. The other Murlocs were also infected and began to cry. Yes, I heard that even Princess Shirahoshi was hunted down by the pirates. I don't know how the situation is, they are too cruel. And they even put to death those Murlocs who have a little close to human behavior or ideas. Hearing these words, Whitebeard couldn't help but laugh. Hey ha ha ha, isn't it weird, aren't the Ant and his envoys humans, why didn't he resist? Whitebeard laughed. Those Murlocs were all taken aback when they heard the words, and then suddenly realized. Yes, the Ants are also human, and Hody Jones dare not provoke the Ant at all. The fish people replied. Gum ha ha ha, it's just a person who bullies the soft and fears the hard, I will help you solve it. Whitebeard said. Thank you Lord Whitebeard, thank you Lord Whitebeard. The fish people thanked. And. Chapter 262. Murloc King. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In the Dragon Palace Kingdom, King Neptune wandered in his palace. The pace that has been going back and forth can show the king's current anxiety and worries. The king of the Dragon Palace Kingdom of the Fishmen Island is a coelacanth mermaid. In the Fishmen Island, it is generally divided into two big species, that is, mermaid and murloc. The so-called mermaid has the appearance of a human, but the lower body is a fish tail, while the murloc has human legs, and the upper body shows some characteristics of a fish. Although the mermaid and the murloc have some of the characteristics of fish, it seems that they are not much different, but in terms of actual combat ability, the murloc is much stronger than the mermaid. The Neptune King, his body is very strong, much taller than the average murloc or mermaid, he has orange hair and beard. The sturdy, 947, has flame-like tattoos on both arms. As the king of the Dragon Palace Kingdom, the Neptune family has been fighting all year round. But as a Murloc group, they still can't fight against the powerful Murloc pirate group, so the current situation is completely mastered by Hody Jones and others. Although he is still a nominal king, his power has been controlled. He can't even get out of this palace. Outside are all members of the Hody Jones pirates. If it weren't for the fact that Neptune still has some prestige, and has years of ruling foundation on the Fishmen Island, I am afraid that Hody Jones has already initiated a coup. Advertisement. However, Neptune is well aware of Hody Jones' ambition and hatred, and it may be a matter of time before he seizes his own power. Just as Neptune was walking back and forth in the room was suddenly pushed aside. Father! With a shout, Neptune saw that the person coming was his eldest son, the next king of the Fishmen Island, Shark. Shark has the pressure of a shark and long wavy hair. He is also a mermaid. There is an obvious wound on his arm with blood flowing down. Seeing the shark star, Neptune immediately asked eagerly, "How is the situation?" Shark shook his head helplessly and said, "I don't know, I want to rush out, but I was blocked back, but Van der Daken X will definitely attack Shirahoshi." Neptune punched the wall in anger, leaving a crack. "Damn it guy, if something happens to Shirahoshi, I will definitely fight him." Neptune shouted angrily. Shirahoshi is the daughter of Neptune, and the reason why Neptune cherishes Shirahoshi so much is not only because Shirahoshi is his own daughter, she is the hope of the Murlocs. Shirahoshi absolutely must not have an accident, but the fellow Van der Daken X has sent out all kinds of love letters to Shirahoshi before, which is really disgusting, and he will definitely not let Shirahoshi go. Hey, the damn chocolate envoy, actually didn't care about the trampling of our palace by the pirates such as Hody Jones. Neptune said angrily. They think this is our internal fighting in the Fishmen Island, but I think it was Hody Jones who gave the chocolate envoy some benefits. Shark was also full of anger. Advertisement. If you are talking about paying tribute to the mermaid on the Fishman Island, then I hope that guy will go down to 18 levels of hell. Neptune became even more angry. If Hody Jones just wants to seize his power, it's fine, but in the current state, Hody Jones has threatened the entire Fishman Island. If they are really allowed to rule the Fishman Island, I am afraid it will create an undersea world that is no longer stable. Moreover, it is impossible to never interact with humans. After all, the power of the Fishman Island is too weak. If humans are unified, there is no chance of winning at all. Moreover, it was precisely because their royal palace joined the world government hundreds of years ago that it restored some of the unfavorable conditions for the Murlocs. If Hody Jones ruled the Fishman Island, with his hatred of humans, I am afraid that the entire Fishman Island will be an enemy of humans. At that time, the Fishman Island will have only one fate, that is, destruction. It is impossible not to be destroyed as an enemy of human beings, and in the final analysis, whether they are mermaid or Murloc, they all have a part of humanity. Neptune inherited the thoughts of his wife, Princess Otahime, and he now firmly hopes to live in peace with mankind. Therefore, the actions of Hody Jones and others other than the seizure of power also violated Neptune's iron law, and also harmed his family. It would be great if the Fishman Island was still guarded by Whitebeard, they would definitely not sit back and watch. Neptune sighed. I thought that the ant was also the four emperors. Under the protection of the four emperors, the Fishman Island can live in peace. However, compared with Whitebeard, the ant is much harsher, and there is no warmth for them. Advertisement. Father, I have received news before that the Whitebeard pirates defeated the Blackbeard pirates, and this matter spread all over the world. Shark said. Defeat the Blackbeard pirates. Isn't Blackbeard also four emperors? Wasn't it defeated so easily? Neptune said in surprise, he could not imagine a battle at the four emperors level. For Neptune, who has been living in the Undersea Dragon Palace, the biggest war he has ever seen is the battle around the Fishman Island. And the most extensive war that Neptune has ever heard of was the Top War. In that war, Whitebeard directly dispatched more than 40 pirate ships. Marine also used 100,000 Marines, many Marine Vice Admiral, Marine Marshal, Marine Heroes and so on. Neptune had only heard of that scene, but it was unimaginable, and the battle of the four emperors level, Neptune thought that it shouldn't be much worse. The news should be true. I think Whitebeard sent someone to contact us before. He still cares about the Fishman Island. Shark thought. 5.0. Yeah, if it weren't for the ant's intervention, we are still under the protection of Whitebeard. However, facing the existence of four emperors, the Fishman Island can't resist at all. Neptune was also a little helpless. But I believe that the Whitebeard pirates will take action. Father, don't give up, there will be support. Although Shark is not bottomless in his heart, he still comforts Neptune. Hey, Neptune sighed helplessly, and said, I am not giving up. I am just worried about Shirahoshi. If something happens to Shirahoshi, the hope of our Murlocs for hundreds of years will be. Shark heard the words and fell silent. Yes, the hope of their Murlocs lies on Shirahoshi, because Shirahoshi is the only mermaid that can summon sea kings born in the Fishman Island for hundreds of years. Chapter 263, Shirahoshi. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Shirahoshi is a mermaid princess who can communicate with sea kings. This is the king of sea kings that only appears in the Fishman Island every 800 years. This ability to summon sea kings gives Shirahoshi the tremendous power that can save countless lives or destroy the world, and is known as the legendary Poseidon. The situation of Shirahoshi was not very good at this time. Because of the chase of the shameless Van der Deacon Ix, Shirahoshi had to hide in his hard-shell tower. Shirahoshi's hard-shell tower, no one can forcibly break into it except herself, and it can't be easily destroyed. Therefore, it is an excellent place of refuge for Shirahoshi, but due to the difficulties of Van der Deacon Ix and others, she often hides here. The inability to communicate with the outside world and to go out at will is a great trouble for Shirahoshi. My dear Shirahoshi, don't you plan to come out yet? If you don't come out, you may regret it. There was a familiar and disgusting voice outside. It was Van der Deacon Ix. Oh 1. Shirahoshi has heard this kind of words many times, but whenever he hears the voice of Van der Deacon Ix, Shirahoshi can't help but become disgusted with fear. Shirahoshi stayed quietly in the hard-shell tower, covering her ears with her hands tightly. She was afraid of hearing the follow-up of that sound. Although the hard shell tower can block most of the attacks, it can't stop the sound from penetrating. Shirahoshi hates Van der Daken X. Advertisement. Moreover, the current Van der Daken X has long since been distorted. Before, Van der Daken X only confessed to Shirahoshi, but now, he has become angry. Shirahoshi, I warn you, if you don't come out, then I will kill your father, your brother, and then you will be a lonely person. Van der Daken X continued outside. Faced with this cruel threat, Shirahoshi couldn't help but shake her heart. She was a little scared, afraid that Van der Daken X would really kill them. No, there is Jinbei boss, you can't do whatever you want. Shirahoshi shouted. Seaman Jinbei has always been the righteous existence in Shirahoshi's heart and the pride of the Murlocs. At the same time, Jinbei also belongs to the powerful Murloc category, mastered the powerful Murloc Jiu-Jitsu and Murloc Karate, and once became Marine Shichibukai. It's just that Jinbei Shichibukai's honor ended at the top of the war, but this did not affect Jinbei's ability in Shirahoshi's heart. Jinbei. That guy is really a shame to the Murlocs, he can't help joining the Marine government Shichibukai, and he also joined the Ants pirate group, who can only rely on humans. At this time, another voice came. Van der Daken X turned his head and turned out to be Hody Jones. Why are you here? Van der Daken X asked suspiciously. I saw Hody Jones' complexion, and he whispered in the ear of Van der Daken X. Something has happened, get out of here first. What's the matter? Are you in such a hurry? I'm doing very important things now. Van der Daken X was a little reluctant, because he had lost patience and planned to put mental pressure on the people all the time, and could always force her out. And Shirahoshi in the hard shell tower also heard who the owner of the voice was. In a sense, he was even more terrifying than Van der Daken X. Advertisement. God, it's Hody Jones, why is he here too? Are they really going to do something with his father? Shirahoshi said with some worry. On the back of the hard shell tower, there is a 25-meter-long shark. It also has prisoner-like clothes on its body. It is like a huge pet. It screams at the hard shell tower. Mei Jalo, why are you here? Be careful to be attacked by them. Shirahoshi heard that his pet was coming, and suddenly worried about it. What Shirahoshi didn't know was that Van der Daken X had been forcibly pulled away by Hody Jones at this time. What happened? Van der Daken X asked dissatisfiedly. I just reported that I saw Whitebeard and 5 marine battleships, all of which have boarded the Fishmen Island. Dandy Jones said solemnly. What? Upon hearing this news, King Van der Daken X was shocked. This was shocking. Whitebeard and Marine came to the Fishmen Island together, which they never thought of. How can this be? Is it true? Van der Daken X questioned. What kind of status is Whitebeard now? He is almost the One Piece, the king of the sea, how could he come to such a place? And Marine. If you want to come to the Fishmen Island, you must first coat the boat and resist the turbulence. It is not so easy. What purpose does Marine have to come here? Van der Daken X began to think seriously after calming down for a while. This strange phenomenon made him very puzzled. Hody Jones certainly thinks that Van der Daken X's analysis is very reasonable, but the news was reported by his men, and many people have seen it with their own eyes. Advertisement. At this moment, Hody Jones couldn't judge, but his heart was a little nervous at this time. Whether it's true or not, it's useless to guess. We need to verify that this matter is too trivial. Hody Jones said solemnly. Okay, but I don't believe in this kind of thing. It must be the king's plan to deliberately frighten us. 947 Van der Daken X said. He is controlled by us now, how can he still have this ability to make such a big illusion? Hody Jones asked. Don't forget, there is also a seaman Jinbei, that guy is not easy to deal with, and close to humans, he may deliberately make this kind of illusion, wanting us to retreat. Van der Daken X said. In the face of the sworn Van der Daken X, Hody Jones is simply worried. After all, there are 5 marine warships that can be easily imitated. However, this kind of thing is naturally very serious, so the two are also cautious. They did not go directly to the island to explore. Instead, they returned to the place where the 2 pirate regiments were stationed, near No's ship, and planned to gather pirate forces. On the other hand, under the guidance of the residents of the Fishmen Island, Whitebeard soon came outside the Dragon Palace Kingdom. Of course, on the way, there were also some Murlocs who were deeply influenced by Hody Jones and others who attacked Whitebeard. In order not to show a negative influence in front of these residents, Whitebeard did not kill the attackers, but only shook them back. Outside of the Dragon Palace, there are crew members from Hody Jones and other pirate groups. These strange murlocs all appeared in Whitebeard's field of vision for a time. Chapter 264. Rescue Shirahoshi. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Get out of my way. Whitebeard's powerful conqueror's haki burst out suddenly, and a shock spread around like water waves. However, this was a water wave full of majesty and power, and all the pirate guards in front of the Dragon Palace were instantly stunned to the ground. Whitebeard walked into the palace with satisfaction, but there were also some pirates inside, and they all gathered after hearing the movement. What happened? What a big movement? Someone asked. I don't know, it looks like an earthquake. These people quickly noticed Whitebeard, but the moment they were about to warn an intruder, they were shocked and incapacitated by a shock. General Shrimp and Crab, dare to stand in my way. Whitebeard said lightly. In addition to these pirates, some members of the royal family trapped in the Dragon Palace, as well as ministers, etc., all heard this movement. And Whitebeard walked forward and freed some trapped princes along the way, including the other two sons of King Neptune, the Emperor and the Sun. Ah, thank you for saving us. Who are you? Huang Xing said to Whitebeard honestly. Do you know where the king is now? Whitebeard didn't answer, but asked rhetorically. King, he is my father. He is trapped in his bedroom. I will take you there now. Huang Xing said. So, under the leadership of the Emperor Star, Whitebeard quickly went to Neptune's palace, and stunned him when he encountered a pirate guard along the way. Advertisement. Soon, Whitebeard arrived unstoppable all the way to Neptune's palace, stunned the guards of the pirate guard, and released Neptune. Are you the king of the Fishmen Island? Whitebeard said after seeing Neptune. Although the Fishmen Island was under the jurisdiction of the Whitebeard pirate group, this is the first time Whitebeard has seen the king of the Fishmen Island. Ah, I am King Neptune, you, are you? The king was released suddenly, and he felt a little uncomfortable for a while. I felt that Whitebeard was familiar but couldn't remember it. At this time, almost all the members of the Dragon Palace were released, and most of them came here. Among them, the left and right ministers of the Dragon Palace quickly recognized Whitebeard, and they were shocked at the same time. Whitebeard, the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, the emperor of the sea who can fight against the marine government, Edward Newgate. Master King, this is Master Whitebeard. Under the reminder of the ministers on the left and right, Neptune came to realize that, he quickly came to Whitebeard to express his gratitude. Master Whitebeard, my God, I'm looking forward to your arrival in my heart. You really came from the sky to save us like a god. Neptune said with gratitude. Don't thank me, I'm here to get back what belongs to me. The Fishmen Island will still be my guardian in the future, no one can intervene. Whitebeard's words showed an unmatched haki. Of course, all of us welcome Lord Whitebeard. Under your command, the Fishmen Island can get the best development. Neptune said with a smile. The royal family and ministers present were all sincerely happy. Left and right ministers immediately tidy up the Dragon Palace and start preparing to fight back against Hody Jones. Neptune immediately ordered, as the king of the Fishmen Island, he has his own majesty. Yes. The left and right ministers immediately began to resume the normal operation of the Dragon Palace. Advertisement. However, even though he verbally showed the king's haki and majesty, Neptune was still clear about the strength of his Dragon Palace, and it was impossible to fight the two pirate groups anyway. Moreover, Neptune was most worried about his daughter now, so he immediately ignored the king's face and asked Whitebeard for help. Master Whitebeard, thank you very much for coming to rescue us. My daughter may be in danger now, I hope you can save her. Neptune said. Then hurry up, Whitebeard said. Thank you, Lord Whitebeard. Neptune thanked him, and he was about to go with Whitebeard himself, but he was exhausted because of being trapped for a long time. At the same time, because the Dragon Palace still needs the king's guard, Neptune shot the shark to guide Whitebeard. On the other hand, before Hody Jones and Van der Deacon X came to No's ship, they gathered the pirates and made everyone ready for battle. At the same time, Hody Jones also sent some pirates to inquire about the news, but before these people came back, the pirates who were originally responsible for besieging the Dragon Palace escaped. Captain, it's not good. The Murlocs who came back yelled in panic. What's the matter? Hody Jones frowned and asked. There is a human being who defeated all our crew members. He is so powerful that we can't resist at all. The Murloc replied. What? Hody Jones was startled and realized that something was wrong. But Van der Deacon X sank even more, and hurriedly asked, what does that human look like? It's very tall and has a big knife in his hand, but I didn't use it at all. We just looked at it and our crew fell down. He also had a crescent-like white beard. The Murloc recalled. Advertisement. Hearing this, Hody Jones and Van der Deacon X looked at each other, and both saw a touch of shock in each other's eyes. It's Whitebeard. That's right, it's Whitebeard. Van der Deacon X said in terror. He really came. Why did he come to the Fishman Island? Hody Jones looked unbelievable, but also full of fear. Captain, what should we do now to retake the Dragon Palace? Someone asked. Shut up. That's Whitebeard, one of the 4 emperors. He kills Nuo Ma Jiao and kills the Blackbeard pirates just like playing. If we meet, there will be no scum left. Hody Jones scolded. Facing an opponent of the 4 emperors level, they have no resistance at all. So, how could Hody Jones have the idea of confronting the Whitebeard pirates? You know, this is the 4 emperors, let alone the 4 emperors pirate group, there is only Whitebeard alone, which is quite shocking. What's more, the reputation of this Whitebeard has resounded through New World, facing such a terrifying opponent. Hody Jones has only one idea, and that is, run away. However, Van der Deacon X showed different ideas from Hody Jones, although he was also afraid of Whitebeard. An opponent of Whitebeard's level is not something that these small characters can touch. Hody Jones, maybe we have other ways. Chapter 265, Shirahoshi's Pressure. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Van der Deacon X patted Hody Jones on the shoulder, showing a weird smile. Hody Jones was slightly puzzled, and he immediately said, is there any way, are you not afraid of being wiped out by Whitebeard? I'm afraid, of course I'm afraid, but are you willing to leave like this? The Fishman Island is almost at your fingertips. Now a Whitebeard appears out of thin air, obviously to support Neptune. If I really succeeded by Whitebeard, wouldn't my hard work for such a long time be ruined? Van der Deacon X said with a pity. After hearing that, Hody Jones was also lost in contemplation and memories. Yes, in order to seize the power of Neptune, they also planned for a long time, and they have also controlled the Dragon Palace Kingdom. Although, in name, Neptune is still the king, but this is because Hody Jones dared to kill them directly, because this will cause the whole of the Fishman Island to resist. And their purpose is not to destroy the Fishman Island, but to lead the Fishmen to a realm where they can fight against humans. Therefore, for this purpose, they also paid a lot of price, and some more cruel methods. For example, Hody Jones killed Shirahoshi's mother, the queen, Princess Otahime many years ago. Princess Otahime has always advocated 947 friendly relations between Murlocs and humans, which is simply unacceptable to Hody Jones. Therefore, in an event, Hody Jones took the opportunity to assassinate Princess Otahime, and in this matter, not many people know that he is the murderer. But what else can we do? Hody Jones asked reluctantly but helplessly. Advertisement. Van der Deacon X's eyes moved, and he whispered to Hody Jones, brother, although Whitebeard is 4 emperors, don't forget, we also have a 4 emperors backing. After hearing the words, Hody Jones suddenly realized that he opened his mouth and said, you mean ant? Not bad. Van der Deacon X nodded. The ant is also the 4 emperors, and previously had a tacit attitude towards their fight for the regime of the Fishman Island, although they gave the Minister of Chocolate some benefits. However, it is almost the ant's site right now, and this time Whitebeard personally came over, it was obvious that the Fishman Island had his own purpose. Hody Jones instantly understood what Van der Deacon X was thinking. What you mean is that by using the ant to fight Whitebeard, we can avoid being targeted by Whitebeard. The 4 emperors will not take care of us when they go to war. At this time, we can seize the power of the Fishman Island openly and establish a new Dragon Palace kingship. Hody Jones showed a sense of excitement and anticipation at the end. Van der Deacon X smiled and nodded. That's right, how do you feel about this plan? It is completely reasonable. We only need to push the boat along the water and take advantage of it. Hody Jones stroked his shark-like jaw, and then began to frown again. But what if the ant gave up the Fishman Island? Whitebeard is hot now, and the Blackbeard pirate group was wiped out not long ago, and the ant must have known it too. In the face of such a powerful 4 emperors, can she really have the determination to fight against it? Hody Jones expressed doubts about this. After all, Whitebeard's limelight is too strong in the New World, even if it is one of the 4 emperors, but the other 4 emperors seem to be inferior to him at all. Advertisement. Although the current situation is still 4 emperors on the surface, it is actually 1 king and 3 emperors. Whitebeard is the One Piece king, located at the apex of the sea, and the other 3 emperors are far from each other. Therefore, even if Whitebeard reoccupied the Fishmen Island, I am afraid that the Ant would not dare to fight directly, and would even give up this place immediately. Although Van der Dekenix also had this doubt, his heart still does not support him to leave like this. He needs to constantly find reasons and then persuade Hody Jones. I don't think the Ant is not afraid of Whitebeard at all. Don't forget, the Ant grabbed the Fishmen Island from Whitebeard ABFA. Van der Dekenix said. The Ant has long looked at the Fishmen Island, but because of the resurrection of Whitebeard, the Ant has been jealous for a while, but the plan to occupy the Fishmen Island is still quietly implemented. Therefore, the Ant's move was completely provoking Whitebeard, and Whitebeard discovered that such an action was a matter of time. It is impossible to prejudge it in advance. Therefore, it can only show that the Ant is not afraid of Whitebeard, and may also launch the 4 emperors battle. Hody Jones and Van der Dekenix regrouped, and they felt that they would first tell the Minister of Chocolate about Whitebeard. Hody Jones, you go to the Minister of Chocolate first, and I will do one other thing first. Van der Dekenix said. It's all about it, what else do you have? Hody Jones was directly puzzled. Of course it is a very important thing. Van der Dekenix said eagerly. Afterwards, the two separated and Hody Jones went to the Minister of Chocolate and told him about Whitebeard. And Van der Dekenix, he is going to return to the hard shell tower where Shirahoshi is. Dear Shirahoshi, I hope you are still waiting for me. Van der Dekenix was swimming quickly in the water, and he still had deep illusions about Shirahoshi in his heart. Advertisement. Although the arrival of Whitebeard may have rescued Shirahoshi, it will take time. And Van der Dekenix planned to take Shirahoshi away first. He knew that if he missed this opportunity, it would be even more difficult in the future. Therefore, Van der Dekenix was very nervous and eager to swim along the way. Soon, after arriving at the hard shell tower, he saw that there was no one else here, and there was no sign of the hard shell tower being opened. It seems that Shirahoshi is still there. Van der Dekenix couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Shirahoshi, have you figured it out? Come out quickly. Van der Dekenix shouted. Hearing the voice of Van der Dekenix, Shirahoshi's huge body was shocked, and a wave of fear came in his heart. Why is he here again? Shirahoshi complained silently in his heart, full of helplessness. Shirahoshi, what I said just now is true. If you don't come out, then I will kill your brother and your father. Van der Dekenix shouted loudly. Shirahoshi felt even more frightened, but she couldn't answer for a while and remained silent. I know, you think that there is Seaman Jinbei, there is no threat in your dragon palace, right? Then let me tell you, Jinbei is now busy dealing with the Ant's problems, he doesn't have so much time to take care of you. Van der Dekenix understood Shirahoshi's mind well, so he kept putting pressure on her. Chapter 266. The prestigious name of Whitebeard. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Father, brothers, Shirahoshi clasped his hands in the hard shell tower and prayed for them. Shirahoshi knew very well that once he came out, he would definitely end up miserably. Although Van der Dekenix has always said that he likes Shirahoshi, and has always confessed to her and pursued her. However, not to mention that Van der Dekenix's original temperament is more cruel, Shirahoshi will not agree to his confession. Moreover, the so-called love of Van der Dekenix has long been distorted, it is purely possessive. Or it has evolved into a desire for revenge, so Shirahoshi knew that as long as he went out, Van der Dekenix would definitely torture himself. However, in the face of the linguistic threat of Van der Dekenix, Shirahoshi was unable to ignore it. For her, her mother is dead, and her father and brother are the only remaining family members. If Van der Dekenix really killed her father and brothers, then she would be alive by herself, that wouldn't be interesting. Impossible, my father has such a high reputation, he didn't dare to kill his father. Shirahoshi comforted himself in his heart. Shirahoshi, I'll give you one last chance. Are you really not coming out? Let me show you something. Van der Dekenix finished speaking, and then he took out a piece of fish scale from his body with some flesh and blood on it. The blood quickly spread, and even Shirahoshi, who was hiding in the hard shell tower, smelled the blood. This is, Shirahoshi's heart suddenly began beating violently. Advertisement. This is clearly his brother's blood. A mermaid has a very keen sense of smell in the sea, especially for his close relatives, because when he comes into contact with blood that is close to his own blood, he will have some induction. At this time, Shirahoshi was very sure that this was the blood of his eldest brother, Shark. How? Recognize it? Are you still questioning what I said? Van der Dekenix smiled sullenly. This flesh and blood scale was obtained by Van der Dekenix during his previous fight with the rebellious Shark. At that time, Van der Dekenix was born with such an idea. Let Shirahoshi believe his words. What happened to my brother? What did you do to him? Shirahoshi shouted loudly from inside the hard shell tower. She has fallen into the trap of Van der Dekenix, and now she becomes extremely anxious and worried. In this state, Shirahoshi has completely lost the ability to think. Van der Dekenix smiled triumphantly. He felt that the plan he had already had was a success. Come on, come out, they are in my hands now, and they are not dead yet, but if you continue to stay stubbornly inside, then I can't guarantee their safety. Okay, I'll come out. You promised me that you must let them go. Shirahoshi cried and cried. No problem, I promise you. Van der Dekenix suddenly smiled with a successful plan. Shirahoshi took a deep breath, then began to open the hard shell tower, preparing to step out of this place. But just as the hard shell tower opened little by little, suddenly, a heavy force rammed over and closed the hard shell tower again. Facing the sudden change, Van der Dekenix's face suddenly changed. He looked at it, and it turned out to be Shirahoshi's pet shark, Meijalo. Advertisement. Meijalo kept sounding warnings, and Shirahoshi also heard its meaning. Meijalo, do you tell me not to go out? But I can't help it now, both father and brother will be in danger. Shirahoshi said aggrievedly. Meijalo always made a sound, resolutely not to let Shirahoshi come out, and at the same time showed strong hostility towards Van der Dekenix. The damn it guy, dare to interfere with my good deeds. Van der Dekenix suddenly burst into anger. At this time, Meijalo rushed towards Van der Dekenix frantically, trying to attack Van der Dekenix desperately. Shirahoshi heard the movement outside, and she suddenly shouted, Meijalo, run away, you are not his opponent. Although Meijalo had a huge body, he was only a pet after all. Facing a fruit-powered person, it could not be defeated. HMPH, just a pet, dare to resist me, really knowing how to live and die. Facing Meijalo's attack, Van der Dekenix just dodged and touched it with his hands. Then, he activated his fruit ability. As long as he has touched the opponent, Van der Dekenix can leave a mark on his hand, and the attack launch will completely lock the opponent. 0 seeking flowers, 0. Even if he fled to the ends of the earth, this attack would not stop. Van der Dekenix controlled a huge seabed rock and smashed Meijalo over, and the huge volume suddenly caused a strong wave in the water. Because Meijalo is a shark, although the straight line speed is fast, but the figure is not so flexible, it can't even avoid the first attack. Facing the huge rock about to collide, Meijalo seemed to give up resistance, and closed his eyes. Advertisement. Suddenly, an instant of rapid impact came from a distance, smashing the rock into nothingness. Meijalo opened his eyes in surprise, and Van der Dekenix also showed a surprised look. Who is it? Van der Dekenix looked around cautiously, and only a few figures gradually appeared in the distance. That is. Van der Dekenix suddenly opened his eyes and looked at it. I saw the shark swim over quickly, and then cried out with concern. Sister, are you okay? Brother. Why are you here? Did they catch you? Shirahoshi was overjoyed when he heard the voice of the shark, and then asked worriedly. Of course not, I'm here to protect you, now you don't have to worry. Shark said. It turned out to be you, did you forget that you were my defeated man? Seeing that it was the shark, Van der Dekenix breathed a sigh of relief, and then said strongly. No, you are wrong, you can take a good look. Shark pointed behind him and said. Unknown rats, save your life. Whitebeard's voice passed through faintly, and then his figure gradually became clear. Whitebeard, you are Whitebeard. Van der Dekenix's voice trembled suddenly, and he didn't even choose to escape because of fear. Since you know my name, you should also know this: the Fishmen Island, which used to be my site. Whitebeard said coldly. Master Whitebeard, I was wrong. I hope you will let me go. Van der Dekenix immediately gave up all means and directly begged for mercy. When Van der Dekenix came into contact with Whitebeard at such a close distance, he felt a strong pressure in his heart. This is the oppression of the king. And Chapter 267. Rescue Shirahoshi. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Whitebeard, you, facing the oppression of Whitebeard, Van der Dekenix kept backing away, unable to speak. Whitebeard flew at low altitude with a majestic face, but he was not facing Van der Dekenix. For this little character, Whitebeard didn't put him in his eyes. Whitebeard came straight towards the hard-shell tower. Whitebeard knows more or less about Shirahoshi's legend, even though he is only a princess. There is no force, but the power she possesses is definitely not comparable to ordinary people. Summoning Sea Kings, based on this alone, is able to dominate the new world. How about, let your sister out quickly and see how she is? Whitebeard asked. Shark immediately said. This thing is difficult to destroy from the outside. With that, the shark, 947, star began to call out to the hard-shell tower and asked Shirahoshi to open the hard-shell tower. Whitebeard looked at it slightly, and saw that there were many marks on the hard-shell tower, all caused by some weapons. Why are there so many traces of attacks? Whitebeard asked. It's all caused by the guy Van der Dekenix. He used to harass Shirahoshi often, saying it was a confession, but from the beginning the pearl gift gradually evolved into various weapons. Shark said bitterly. Shark stared at Van der Dekenix coldly after speaking, which made him even more frightened. It's just a trash fish. Whitebeard said lightly. Advertisement. Then, I saw Whitebeard raise his hand, and a wave of spatial fluctuations quickly gathered in his palm. The surrounding sea water instantly fluctuated, and a force that made Van der Dekenix felt terrible seemed to be brewing. What a terrible power. The shark star next to Whitebeard was secretly frightened. It seemed that Whitebeard was just doing it casually. He didn't have to spend much effort to gather such a large shaking force. If he went all out, he might be able to subvert the sea. Is this the strength of the four emperors? Shark star suddenly sighed. Whitebeard was about to issue this shocking force to kill Van der Dekenix, but he knelt down and begged for mercy in extreme fear. Van der Dekenix quickly begged for mercy. Don't kill me, I know Horty Jones' conspiracy. Oh, does it have anything to do with me? Whitebeard didn't fluctuate. It's related, he intends to deal with you. Van der Dekenix shouted desperately. Shark was embarrassed and didn't know what to say. He wondered if this Horty Jones was so irony that even Whitebeard would dare to provoke him. Master Whitebeard, you are not afraid of him running anyway, so let's save him first and see what he said. Shark hesitated, said next. Well, you can catch him and take him back for interrogation. Whitebeard also respected what he meant. As a result, Shark quickly stepped forward and locked Van der Dekenix. As a member of the royal family who has been fighting for many years, Shark always carries chains and other things with him. Van der Dekenix did not dare to resist at all, but he was relieved in his heart because, at least temporarily, his life was saved. The reason why Shark pleaded for him was not because he was kind, but because he was a little worried about the conspiracy in the mouth of Van der Dekenix. Advertisement. Shark has always known Horty Jones. This guy is very cruel in his heart, and is likely to do something terrible under extreme conditions. Even if Whitebeard will not be injured, it does not mean that the Fishmen Island will not be affected. Of course, apart from this, the most important thing is that Shark does not want Van der Dekenix to die so easily. After all, he and Horty Jones have brought a lot of turmoil to the Fishmen Island, and it is best to publicly put it to death. This can also relieve the fish people of the Fishmen Island, and at the same time, it can also deter other criminals. Soon, Shark locked Van der Dekenix's hands and feet, but Shirahoshi never opened the hard-shell tower, and there was no response. Hey, why haven't my sister come out yet, Shirahoshi? Shark suddenly became puzzled, and then began to shout. It turned out that Shirahoshi was too nervous and scared before and passed out in a coma. You know, Shirahoshi has been under great mental pressure during this period of time. Maybe when I was sleeping, I would think of the threats of Van der Dekenix, or the sound of weapon attacks. In such an environment, Shirahoshi almost couldn't sleep well, and just now after learning that his brother had arrived, all the feelings of fatigue came out because of excessive relaxation. As a result, Shirahoshi immediately fell asleep. Shark shouted outside for a while without any answer, and he also started to get anxious. What to do? Is Shirahoshi injured? Shark said anxiously, but couldn't help it because he couldn't open the hard shell tower from the outside. You get out of the way, I'll open it. Seeing that this is no way to wait, Whitebeard intends to force it open. Master Whitebeard, are you going to use violence to destroy it? It's useless. This hard shell tower is very hard. Although Shark swam to the side, he still said. Advertisement. Looking like this, it is indeed very hard, but for me, it is not a problem. You can walk away a bit to avoid injury. Whitebeard said lightly. Seeing Whitebeard's posture, Shark thought to himself that Whitebeard is really going to be tough. Whether he can destroy the hard shell tower is two different things. But Shark became anxious, and immediately said, Master Whitebeard, if you destroy the hard shell tower, then Shirahoshi will be sad. This hard shell tower is not only her hiding place, but also her bedroom. Shark feels that if you want to destroy the hard shell tower, it will inevitably require a huge force, and this powerful force will definitely destroy the inside and outside of the hard shell tower. And this, Shark felt that Shirahoshi was unacceptable. However, Whitebeard didn't care. He immediately used a large knife to swing a sword aura. 5.0 This sword gas immediately carried a shocking force, and it cut right into the opening of the hard shell tower. It didn't cause any damage, but the power of the tremor immediately exerted its effect, gradually starting to separate the hard shell tower. Shark stared at him. It was the first time he saw this situation. This exquisite and terrifying power was simply amazing. Soon, the hard shell tower gradually opened, and a huge and beautiful figure appeared in front of everyone. It was a beautiful body with a height of 11 meters, as tall as Whitebeard, and only about 5 meters, but Shirahoshi was 11 meters high. Seeing her soft body lying on the floor of her bedroom, Shark immediately walked over and called her. And Whitebeard suddenly shot, and a shocking force like a needle pierced out. Chapter 268. The Familiar Shirahoshi. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Ah, my eyes, my eyes. Van der Daken X shouted suddenly in pain. It turned out that when Shirahoshi was in the figure, Van der Daken IX's eyes were attracted to the past and could not be removed. He even showed an extremely wretched look, and Whitebeard directly blinded his eyes. The nerves around Van der Daken IX's eyes have been destroyed by Whitebeard's shocking force, and the damage is irreversible. Therefore, Van der Daken X will not be able to see any scenes afterwards, and this sudden shot also surprised Shark and Whitebeard's fierceness. This is some punishment for you, Whitebeard said lightly. Soon, Shirahoshi woke up, and she looked around with a puzzled look. Brother, what happened? Shirahoshi asked when he woke up and saw the shark. Before Shark could answer, Shirahoshi saw Whitebeard and Van der Daken X again. For Whitebeard, Shirahoshi has heard the name, but never knew it. She yelled immediately. Van der Daken X. Brother, you go quickly. It seemed that Whitebeard hadn't fully recovered yet, and her spirit was somewhat damaged. Don't worry, this guy won't bother you anymore, Whitebeard said with a smile. Shirahoshi calmed down slightly, and then noticed that Van der Daken X had been chained and his eyes were injured. Advertisement. She calmed down, thinking that Van der Daken X had already been subdued, but her brother obviously couldn't do it. Then, it could only be done by the human in front of her. Human, who are you? Shirahoshi asked curiously. Sister, don't be rude, this is our benefactor and the guardian of the Fishman Island in the future, Whitebeard. Shark immediately introduced Shirahoshi. Ah, Shirahoshi was so scared that he covered his mouth. Whitebeard. Is that Whitebeard who was known as the strongest man in the world? Why did he come here? Shirahoshi asked suspiciously. Guhahaha. The Fishman Island is my place, of course I have to protect it. Whitebeard laughed. So, are you here to help us? Shirahoshi asked with his big eyes open. Of course. Whitebeard smiled and nodded. Great, so I don't have to worry about the safety of my father and brothers. By the way, I have to ask you. Except for this Van der Daken X, you have to help us catch the fellow Hody Jones. He is also a big badass. Shirahoshi seems to trust Whitebeard extremely. It is the first time that Shark has seen Shirahoshi behave so lively, and it is still towards a human being. Of course it's okay. don't you have to take a good rest now? Let's take care of other things first. Whitebeard is going to let Shirahoshi rest here, and at the same time he has to deal with the forces of Horty Jones and the ant. However, Shirahoshi seemed disappointed when she saw Whitebeard leaving. She immediately said, "Grandpa, are you leaving now? I still want to talk to you." "Grandpa, you call me too old." Whitebeard suddenly felt helpless. Advertisement. "But I see your beard is so long, crooked like a crescent, and all white, aren't you old?" Shirahoshi's big eyes blinked and blinked, as if talking about this very seriously. Well, Whitebeard didn't know how to explain it. However, although he had a card system, although his age was indeed very old, his body, as well as his spiritual will, were at the peak of his prime. "Although I look old, my heart is not old, so don't call me grandfather," Whitebeard said after thinking about it. He doesn't like being called a grandfather, and he is still such a huge mermaid beauty. "Oh, okay, what do I call you?" Shirahoshi asked, holding his white chin. "Call my name, Whitebeard," Whitebeard said. "Oh, yes, Whitebeard." Shirahoshi nodded. "Whitebeard, Whitebeard, it's fun, this name." Shirahoshi seemed interested in this name. But Shark was embarrassed, thinking that the man in front of you was one of the 4 emperors, the strongest human in the world, bastard. But Shirahoshi was able to talk to him on such an equal footing, and he was so self-willed. Therefore, Shark is also very worried that Shirahoshi's words and deeds will offend Whitebeard. However, what Shark doesn't know is that Whitebeard is very fond of Shirahoshi and is not tired of her at all. Although Whitebeard loves this girl very much, and Shirahoshi is considered a strategic weapon, Whitebeard still wants to solve other things first. "Shirahoshi, you have to be obedient, take a good rest, and talk to you after I have settled the matter," Whitebeard said. "Well, then you'd better come quickly," Shirahoshi reluctantly said. Advertisement. After that, Whitebeard and Shark returned to the Dragon Palace Kingdom with Van der Deacon X, and began to interrogate Van der Deacon X. Of course, Whitebeard didn't participate in the interrogation, he just learned about Neptune's report. Horty Jones' pirate regiment is stationed in No's boat, while the Ant's chocolate envoy has a separate area on the edge of the Fishmen Island. Now that Van der Deacon X has been arrested, Horty and Jones will definitely report it to the Ant, and then the Ant may go into a fight. Neptune said worriedly. 947. Guhahaha. Linlin, do you think I will put her in my eyes? But after all, I have been in the same boat with her, and I have a little friendship. Whitebeard laughed. He didn't put the Ant in the slightest, which made Neptune also relieved, because he wanted to test Whitebeard. In case Whitebeard wants to shrink from the Ant, then Neptune feels really worried. Of course, yes, Lord Whitebeard, I heard that when you came to the Fishmen Island before, there were 5 marine warships that landed together, right? What's the matter? Neptune asked inexplicably. The 5 marine battleships and San Juan were all parked in an area and had not moved. Naturally, Neptune would receive this news soon. Marine battleship. That is my army. If the Ant really leads the pirate group to attack the Fishmen Island, they can be used to resist, but they are not needed now. Whitebeard said. For things that can be solved by himself, Whitebeard doesn't want to use those warships. After all, those shells are also limited. Although Whitebeard now has a large territory, he still lacks one thing, and that is the factory that manufactures artillery shells. Of course, after the Fishmen Islands work is finished, Whitebeard plans to occupy a military factory, dedicated to weapons and artillery shells. Chapter 269. Shirahoshi boarding. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At the same time, Whitebeard also intends to train his pirates how to use the master battleship. Marine soldiers will not be needed in the future. These things are in Whitebeard's plan. How could Bai Jing's scattered pirate regiment be able to compete against well-trained regular warships without the influence of high-end combat power? In the main hall of the Dragon Palace Kingdom, Neptune could not sit on the throne naturally in front of Whitebeard. Therefore, he gave himself up to Whitebeard. Whitebeard sat on the throne, Neptune sat down, and the ministers of the Dragon Palace stood on the left and right. They reported to Whitebeard some of the situations that the Dragon Palace had encountered in recent years, and also explained the origins of Van der Deacon X and Horty Jones. Of course, in addition to the situation of the Fishmen Island, Neptune also specifically explained the relationship between the Fishmen Island and humans. Mr. Whitebeard, my wife, Princess Otahime, has been committed to the peaceful coexistence of Murlocs and humans. There have been great results, but they were assassinated. Nowadays, pirates like Hody Jones have gradually influenced many Murlocs. On the one hand, they fear humans, and on the other they hate humans extremely. I want to change all of this, but my strength is weak. I hope you can help me. Neptune pleaded with Whitebeard from the bottom of his heart. Facing the king's request, and as it should be, Whitebeard naturally agreed. Your thoughts are very good. Indeed, I heard that humans have done a lot of cruel things to Murlocs. It is normal that some hatreds are born in such an environment. Eliminating hatred is not a way to control it. Starting today, I will protect the Fishman Island and not let other humans harm you. I believe that over time, all Murlocs will be able to re-establish trust in humans. Advertisement. Whitebeard said confidently that when he came, he saw with his own eyes that so many Murlocs welcomed him. Although, this welcome may be due to his strength and position, or a kind of help in a crisis. However, Whitebeard believes that the Fishman Island is under his guardianship, and there will be no turmoil in the future. At the same time, humans dare not harm the Murlocs at will. Hearing that, Neptune and the ministers will be grateful for Whitebeard. Master Whitebeard, thank you for shooting, and thank you again for visiting the Fishman Island in person. Neptune shouted. Let's talk about this later. You said before that the other pirate who disturbed the order is Hody Jones, right? Take me directly to destroy him first. Whitebeard said. But, didn't Shark say that Hody Jones had a conspiracy? It's being interrogated now, so it's better to wait. The ministers said. Hey ha ha ha, you are too worried. With me, nothing will happen to you in the Fishman Island. Whitebeard laughed. At this time, Shark also ended the interrogation and rushed over immediately. Shark seemed to be a little anxious. He immediately said to everyone after he came. Just now, Van der Daken explained that Hody Jones has two plans. What plan? Neptune asked immediately. He intends to fan the ant against Lord Whitebeard, and at the same time, he will destroy the bubble film of the Fishman Island. Shark said solemnly. What? Hearing this news, everyone present except Whitebeard was shocked. They are not worried about taking advantage of the ant's point of Whitebeard, because just now Whitebeard has indicated that they are not afraid of the ant at all. Advertisement. However, destroying the bubble membrane of the Fishman Island is a bit dangerous. Once the huge bubble membrane of the Fishman Island is destroyed, then the entire Fishman Island will be in danger. It's terrible, he must be stopped. Neptune said firmly. Indeed, this person's thinking is too dangerous, and he wants to destroy the bubble film of the Fishman Island. This is also his home. Minister Zuo was shocked. No, that guy doesn't treat this as his home at all, he just wants to vent his hatred, but I'm very curious about what he has the power to destroy. Minister, you said. Speaking of this, Nightup also realized the problem, because Hody Jones is just a Murloc. Although the Murloc is very strong in karate, he has no fruiting ability. If you want to destroy the huge bubble membrane of an island, this is simply a fantasy. Maybe he used the power of the ant. Minister Zuo thought. Don't think about it so much. Take me to Hody Jones' site right away. I'll just destroy it directly. Whitebeard couldn't help saying. Listening to these people's boring conjectures, Whitebeard also felt bored. For him, with the time to conjecture, he could directly solve the problem. In that case, Shark, take Master Whitebeard. Be careful, Neptune said. Yes. As soon as Shark agreed, a voice appeared. Wait, let me lead the way. I saw Shirahoshi riding Meijalo from outside to the main hall. Although Shirahoshi's body was huge, the Dragon Palace was large enough to adapt to her. Shirahoshi, my daughter, why are you here, aren't you resting? Neptune asked concerned. Advertisement. Father, I'm okay. I'm just a little boring. I want to come and have a look. There is no danger anymore. Shirahoshi said to Neptune. After that, Shirahoshi turned his gaze on Whitebeard, as if acting like a baby. Whitebeard, why haven't you been looking for me for such a long time? I can only come to you. Ha ha ha. Whitebeard laughed, wondering how long it is, a few hours. Since I'm going out to live, I'll stay with you. It just so happens that I haven't been out. Shirahoshi said. Daughter, the Hody Jones pirate, Nuo Ma Jiao, is very dangerous, you go, what if you get injured? Netup worried. Yes, Princess Shirahoshi, your danger is very important to the Fishman Island. The ministers of the left and right also persuaded Daoyi. However, Shirahoshi seemed determined, like a stubborn and willful child, who would not listen to anyone's words. No, I'm going to be with Whitebeard. He will protect me, won't he? Shirahoshi said, blinking at Whitebeard. These beautiful eyes also made Whitebeard a little helpless. Well, as long as you are obedient, you can take you. Whitebeard said. Seeing that Whitebeard agreed, Neptune and others stopped saying anything. Shirahoshi, you must listen to Lord Whitebeard and don't make him trouble, you know. Neptune confessed. I see, Father, you are so awkward. Shirahoshi stuck out his tongue. Chapter 270. Ant is angry. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Shirahoshi rode his pet mage Alo and Whitebeard to the direction of No's boat. No's boat is said to have been built hundreds of years ago. No one has ever moved. I like that place very much, but it was occupied by Hody Jones and the others. It really maddens me. On the way, Shirahoshi couldn't help complaining to Whitebeard. Whitebeard smiled and said, don't worry, they won't be harassed in the future. Shirahoshi immediately felt very relieved. What Whitebeard said was very reliable to her, and about Whitebeard. Shirahoshi used to know most of it from Jinbei, and everyone else was telling how powerful Whitebeard was. But Jinbei told Shirahoshi a lot about Whitebeard before, which made Shirahoshi very interested in Whitebeard. So that when they first met, Shirahoshi acted very familiar, because she had seen Whitebeard countless times in her heart. Trapped in the hard shell tower for a long time, Shirahoshi learned how to talk to herself, and often wandered around in her mind. Whitebeard, what is the human world like? Shirahoshi asked curiously. She has lived in the Fishmen Island since she was a child, and Shirahoshi has never been to the outside world in 947. This is completely unknown to her. Therefore, she often imagines what the outside world is like. Whitebeard thought for a while and said, the outside world is very vast, infinitely times the Fishmen Island. There are mountains, seas, deserts, glaciers, and grasslands. There are too many. If you are interested, you will have opportunities in the future. I can take you everywhere. Sail for a while. Quote. Advertisement. Listening to what Whitebeard said so vividly, Shirahoshi was also completely attracted. She had never seen desert grasslands or anything. Although the Fishmen Island was also beautiful, it was still too small after all. Okay, then we have agreed, you must not lie to me, let's pull the hook. Shirahoshi was very happy, like a child trying to pull a hook, she immediately stretched out her little finger. I really can't do anything with you. Whitebeard shook his head, and stretched out his fingers to hook her. At this time, on the side of No's boat, Hody Jones had already hidden the people, and he himself found the Minister of Chocolate. Hody Jones told the Minister of Chocolate about the arrival of ABFA Whitebeard, and the Minister of Chocolate immediately contacted the ant. Mom, Whitebeard personally came to the Fishmen Island, what should we do now? The ant was eating cake at her own home, and she was a little surprised when she received this call. What? Whitebeard? How did he go to the Fishmen Island? The Whitebeard pirates have finished fighting, and the Blackbeard pirates have gone back. The ant said in surprise. However, she also understood later that she had made a mistake at the time. She thought that the detection of the Whitebeard pirate group meant that Whitebeard was also on the ship, but in fact he went to the Fishmen Island. He probably didn't bring many people. The ant asked, because he observed that almost all the main force of the Whitebeard pirates was there. I investigated and heard that when Whitebeard came to the Fishmen Island, there were 5 marine battleships with him. The Minister of Chocolate reported. 5 marine battleships. The ant frowned slightly, thinking that this was a bit strange. Logically speaking, Marine was more afraid of Whitebeard. How could I help Whitebeard deal with her? At this time, a son of the ant reminded her behind her. Mom, the Whitebeard pirate group stayed for a few days when passing through the marine branch. The battleship should be dispatched at that time, right? Advertisement. The ant thoughtfully. According to that, did they answer some kind of deal? Damn it. The ant became irritable all of a sudden, sending the surrounding food frantically into her mouth. It's not easy for a Whitebeard. Now Marine and Whitebeard are on the same line, which makes the ant think of a terrible possibility. That is, Marine may have to support a bigger Shichibukai. The original Shichibukai was used by the Marine government to counterbalance other pirates, but now, Marine may have to use Whitebeard, the 4 emperors, to deal with other 4 emperors. After sweeping away the large-scale power at sea, Marine finally came to deal with Whitebeard. Thinking of this possibility, the ant couldn't help but tremble for a while. This kind of strategy, I am afraid that these 4 emperors are really hard to resist. After all, when the Whitebeard pirates were dealing with the Blackbeard pirates, they also stood by and watched the Blackbeard pirates. Therefore, when it's your turn, other people may do the same, and the Marine government can smoothly annex the 4 emperors in this way. Mom, what should we do now? Seeing that the ant didn't answer for a long time, the Minister of Chocolate asked again. The ant was also angry at this time, and when she was anxious in her heart, she said unceremoniously, "You can think of a solution by yourself." After speaking, the ant smashed the phone directly, and those who served by the ant dared not speak. Whitebeard, are you really depraved to rely on Marine? The ant sighed. On the other hand, the Minister of Chocolate only got an answer he thought of, which made him really puzzled. Advertisement. How? What did the ant say? Hody Jones asked immediately. Mother is very angry, said the Minister of Chocolate. There was a glimmer of energy in Hody Jones' eyes, and he was angry. That's right, as long as he is angry, he will come to deal with Whitebeard. Has the ant sent someone here? Hody Jones asked in surprise. I'm afraid you will be disappointed. The Minister of Chocolate shook his head. What's the matter? Hody Jones' smile gradually disappeared. The ant doesn't seem to intend to carry on this matter. The Fishman Island may have to be returned to Whitebeard. The Minister of Chocolate said. Return. Hody Jones felt like a bolt from the blue sky, making him a little desperate. Just kidding. Didn't you say that the ant was very angry? She must be preparing some plan to attack Whitebeard. Hody Jones still has a hint of illusion. And the Minister of Chocolate was not busy refuting him, just constantly thinking about the ant's phrase. You find a way by yourself, and think of a way by yourself, so that means it is not a complete surrender. Therefore, the Minister of Chocolate did not know how to solve the current situation for a while. Even though Whitebeard is difficult to deal with, but returning to the ant like this, he may be punished more severely. So, after much deliberation, the Minister of Chocolate decided to make some trouble with Hody Jones for Whitebeard. Chapter 271. Innocent Shirahoshi. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The Minister of Chocolate felt that there was at least Hody Jones who could take advantage of it and let him deal with Whitebeard. In this way, I have done something, but dealing with Whitebeard is not so easy. It requires a good plan. It's not easy to deal with Whitebeard. Even if it's an ant, it's impossible to start a war. At the moment, I can only say that if your sister has any plans, I can help you. Faced with such obvious hints from the Minister of Chocolate, Hody Jones certainly understood what he meant. This means that they can help, but not directly participate, but even so, Hody Jones has a trace of confidence. Well, in this case, I have a plan now. Hody Jones said. Oh, tell me, what's the plan? The Minister of Chocolate was a little surprised, thinking that this guy actually had the courage to provoke Whitebeard. This will use your fruit ability. Hody Jones took possession of him and told the Minister of Chocolate his plan. What Hody Jones is thinking about now is not to remaster the Fishman Island, anyway, there is no chance. What he thinks now is to discuss Whitebeard, and at the same time to take revenge on all the fish and fish people in the Fishman Island. After deciding on the plan, Hody Jones immediately left from here, and at the same time, the Minister of Chocolate also hid in a safe place. After all, the Minister of Chocolate didn't dare to confront Whitebeard head-on. He could only hide in the dark secretly and observe how much Hody Jones could do. Whitebeard was very hungry and came to the place of Noah's boat with the people, which is already the bottom of the Fishman Island. Noah is a very large ancient ship, with half the volume of the Fishman Island, looks very huge. Noah has the title of Oath Boat, isn't it very spectacular? Advertisement. After arriving here, Shirahoshi was very excited and ran onto the deck and introduced to Whitebeard. However, Whitebeard's gaze is constantly observing the surroundings. There are obviously traces of pirates in the area, but now they can't even see a shadow. Obviously, these pirates have left here, which means that they have learned the news and are afraid. We are a step late. It seems that Hody Jones and the others have already left. Shirahoshi, where else might they go? Whitebeard asked. I think about it, now the Fishman Island can no longer have a place for them, or go to the ant's messenger. Shirahoshi thought for a while and said. Do you know where it is? Take me right away, Whitebeard said. Ah, After finally coming here, can't you stay longer? Shirahoshi suddenly acted like a baby. Although Hody Jones has done all the bad things, Shirahoshi has no mentality of revenge, and prefers to play instead. Hearing that, Whitebeard also looked at No's boat. Such a big ancient ship, which has sunk on the bottom of the sea for such a long time, still stands tall and maintains a solemn and sacred feeling. It really makes people want it. Stay. All right, just play here for a while. Whitebeard agreed to Shirahoshi, and he also wanted to study this No's boat. Whitebeard volleyed up and stepped directly on the deck of No's boat. From here, it looked very wide. Such a majestic aura. If it becomes my one-piece ship, wouldn't it be a beautiful thing? Whitebeard said with a smile. Although his own mobility is not bad, it is really insignificant compared with No's boat. Therefore, Whitebeard really moved his mind. To get this No's boat and sail the world with it in the future, it must be so spectacular. Whitebeard, do you like this boat too? Shirahoshi asked with a smile. Advertisement. Of course, Whitebeard nodded. This boat is so big that anyone can support it, and, with this boat, can't you be invited as a guest? No's boat is very large. Although Shirahoshi is 11 meters high, it is also very small on it. Ordinary boats really can't support Shirahoshi's weight, and if you have No's boat, let alone Shirahoshi, it's the big giants of the giants. Shirahoshi was very happy when she heard Whitebeard say this. She immediately said, okay, I can go sailing on No's boat. However, how should I drive such a large ship, and after it has been left for so long, it still needs repairs, and I heard that it takes a member of the D clan to repair Noah. Shirahoshi said after turning around. 0 seeking flowers, 0. Clan D. I know a few, Whitebeard said. Ah, do you know that? That's great, you can let them fix it. Shirahoshi said immediately. But a few are dead, and the rest should not be repaired. Whitebeard said. When Whitebeard spoke, his eyes were a little gloomy because he thought of Ace. Sorry, don't be too sad. Shirahoshi immediately comforted. Gu ha ha ha. Anyhow, I am also the Emperor of the Sea, the King of the Sea. For us pirates, this kind of thing is inevitable, but in the future, I will do everything I can to protect my family. Are those crew members your family? Shirahoshi asked. Yes, they are all my sons, they are all brothers and sisters. There should be a lot of people on your boat. Advertisement. Yes, many, 1 or 2,000 people. Such a big pirate group, so do you guys have a lot of fun every day? Of course, for the pirates, every day is a carnival, because at any time Marine will come to beat us. Wow, such a life, I really want to try it. If you can use No's boat, would you accept my invitation? Whitebeard asked. What do you mean? Like them, become my daughter. Whitebeard said jokingly, but the look on his face was serious. Shirahoshi was blindfolded and didn't know how to answer. Ha ha ha, did you scare you? I am very free here, and I won't force you. Whitebeard continued. But I won't be a pirate. Shirahoshi said after holding back for a long time. Guhahaha, you are so cute, you can help me tug the boat. Whitebeard said. Tugboat. Shirahoshi's eyes widened, with a look of confusion. Look, isn't there a lot of chains on this? Whitebeard pointed to No's bow. There were indeed a lot of huge chains on it. And. Chapter 272, Whitebeard's abilities. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Such a large ship cannot be controlled by wind and waves, of course it needs some external force. So, the best way is to have fish dragged in front, like a sled dog. After Whitebeard said, Shirahoshi cocked his mouth to aggrieved, you are too bad, I am not a fish, and I don't have such a great effort. County authored you to invite me to your boat just to do coolies for you. While talking, Shirahoshi also made a cry, which made Whitebeard feel so funny. Guhahaha. Shirahoshi, I didn't tell you to do coolies. Whitebeard denied with a smile. You said just now that you want me to tug the boat for you, don't you admit it now? Shirahoshi said angrily. Of course not, you are such a beautiful princess, how could you let you do something like 947, of course it is with your ability. Whitebeard explained. My ability? What ability? Shirahoshi wiped the marks on his face and asked curiously. Shirahoshi had never understood his abilities, and Neptune and the others had never told Shirahoshi about the biggest secret of the Dragon Palace Kingdom, but they had just kept him well protected. However, seeing Shirahoshi didn't seem to know, Whitebeard didn't explain it immediately, and passed by vaguely. After Shirahoshi had played enough on Noah, they immediately went to the place where the Minister of Chocolate was, but on the way, a town suddenly broke out. Many pirates appeared here to burn, kill and rob, causing a chaos. The fish people who lived in fled here one after another, and Whitebeard and Shirahoshi happened to pass by here. What happened? Why are everyone running? Shirahoshi grabbed a panicked resident and asked. Advertisement. There are pirates, Murloc pirates. Princess, why are you here? It's too dangerous, hurry up and leave. The resident said anxiously. Is it Hody Jones pirates? Shirahoshi asked. It seems that the Poseidon army seems to have been defeated. The resident said. Then Shirahoshi let him go and let him escape. Why is he attacking these innocent residents? Hody Jones is really damn it. Shirahoshi said angrily. He is a little bold. Is this his plan? I'm afraid there is something to follow. Whitebeard said. Whitebeard, let's go take a look first and get them all cleaned up, Shirahoshi said. Gum ha ha ha, okay. Whitebeard laughed suddenly, and then flew out with Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi used his own power to fly with Shirahoshi, but Shirahoshi's huge body flew in the air with a feeling of obscuring the sky. Soon, Whitebeard saw the pirates, they were all ordinary ones. Soon, he fixed his gaze on a Murloc who looked like a shark. Are you Hody Jones? Whitebeard appeared directly in front of him from the air. Hody Jones was taken aback, and the other pirates were at a loss, while Shirahoshi angrily said in the back, Hody Jones, why are you doing this? They are innocent. Hody Jones ignored Shirahoshi's words, because it has always been on Whitebeard's body, that iconic crescent beard. At any glance, he can understand that he is the new One Piece, Whitebeard. Whitebeard, you are finally here. Hody Jones replied through gritted teeth. Advertisement. Oh, listening to you, it seems that you have premeditated. Are you waiting for me? Whitebeard asked with interest. Others are afraid of you, but I am not afraid. All human beings are damned, and you are the same. Today, I am going to get rid of you here. Hody Jones said with great vigor. The pirates around were also greatly encouraged in an instant, and they all cheered. Whitebeard suddenly felt a little speechless. Are these people all ignorant and fearless? I've seen a lot of pirates, but the one with a tone as big as you is the first one. Whitebeard said with a smile. Sometimes, when exposed to a certain level, what it brings is not to make people angry, but to make people feel cute, because it is really naive. HMPH. Wait, you won't be able to laugh for long. Hody Jones continued. Whitebeard's eyes condensed, and a shocking force instantly popped out of his body, and a lightning-like impact on Hody Jones' chest, directly shattering his internal organs. Hody Jones flew out in an instant, blood was constantly spitting out from his mouth, and the other pirates were stunned in an instant. Who would have thought that Whitebeard would attack suddenly? Captain! The surrounding pirates suddenly exclaimed, and then attacked Whitebeard at the same time. Whitebeard didn't move, and Conqueror's haki burst out instantly. Invisible power blew across the area like the wind, and all the pirates fell down. Is this so powerful? Shirahoshi stammered in surprise. Gu ha ha ha, now believe that I can protect you, follow me, you can swim this big story. Whitebeard joked with a smile. Believe, I will seriously consider it. Shirahoshi replied immediately. Gum ha ha ha, that's good. Whitebeard laughed. Advertisement. At this moment, Hody Jones suddenly reappeared in front of them, as if he were a clone. And the one that fell to the ground before turned into a puddle of chocolate mud gradually. Stand in messenger. What kind of fruit are you? Whitebeard asked curiously. Well, you can't kill me. Hody Jones laughed. Shirahoshi was also a little surprised to see this scene, because she knew very well that Hody Jones was incapable of fruiting. At least this was the case before, and this was obviously not a Murloc skill. Hody Jones, have you eaten the evil 5.0 devil fruit? Shirahoshi shouted. Ha ha ha, I don't have to answer you, Shirahoshi, as the princess of the Fishmen Island, you are actually close to a human being. What a shame you. Hody Jones was very angry, although Hody Jones hated Shirahoshi because Shirahoshi was the daughter of Princess Otahime. But she is still the princess of the Fishmen Island. Hody Jones hates humans more than her, and she is so close to Whitebeard. This was clearly unacceptable to Hody Jones, and he gritted his teeth hating Shirahoshi. Whitebeard is a very good human being, he will protect the Fishmen Island, and you, as a Murloc, have killed so many of the same kind. Isn't it you who is ashamed? Shirahoshi was also angry, and immediately retorted unwillingly. Chapter 273. Kill the cadres of the anti-pirate group. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Protect the Fishmen Island. They can only want to use you. You don't understand how ugly humans are. Hearing Shirahoshi's retort, Hody Jones' mood immediately became agitated and began to shout hoarsely, as if venting his endless resentment. Shirahoshi was a little surprised. She was shocked by the somewhat distorted expression and terrible Chinese of Hody Jones. She did not expect Hody Jones' hatred of humans to be so terrible. As the nonsense enough, Whitebeard said lightly, with a cold killing intent in his eyes. This time, Whitebeard was really angry. This guy was so unabashed in front of him, and he also frightened Shirahoshi, which made Whitebeard directly raise his hand to release a shocking force. The powerful tremor force pulsed the space with vibration, and bounced out almost instantaneously. Hody Jones didn't have the slightest time to react. The whole body was shaken into nothingness, and the power of horror reverberated in that space. Ha ha ha, I said, you can't kill me. After a while, a familiar voice came again. It was Hody Jones. Oh one. He appeared again. Shirahoshi covered her mouth in surprise, showing that she was very shocked at this time. Whitebeard frowned slightly. Since just now, Hody Jones has been killed twice, but nothing has reappeared twice. This is definitely not an ordinary Logia fruit ability, because ordinary Logia will definitely not be left with the scum that was bombarded by Whitebeard just now, and it is impossible to reappear. This should be some kind of Paramesha fruit ability, a doll or puppet made from chocolate, that is to say, there is no real body here. It's just that Hody Jones attaches his consciousness to the doll, so he can communicate with them with his consciousness. But for Whitebeard, this is nothing, as long as you find out who is really behind the scenes. Advertisement. Whitebeard is a strong man who has experienced many battles at sea. Of course, he has his own unique method to deal with such a fighting method hiding in the dark. Of course, it takes some time. Whitebeard, what should we do now? What the hell is going on? Why does he keep showing up? Shirahoshi asked suspiciously. It's okay, it won't take long for that kid to jump his toes. Whitebeard said seriously. Subsequently, Whitebeard used shock fruit to send out countless sonic vibrations towards the surrounding space. Under this vibration frequency, any other abnormalities would be noticed by him. Seeing Whitebeard's movements, Hody Jones was also a little puzzled. He didn't understand what Whitebeard was going to do, but he felt that he should be in no danger at the moment. Hody Jones has only one goal now, and that is to deliberately procrastinate them. By the way, it's disgusting Whitebeard and the others. Shirahoshi also looked at Whitebeard curiously. In this state, it didn't take long for Whitebeard to feel the anomaly in the space. Although it was only a trace of fruit power, it was still very obvious, and there was nowhere to hide under Whitebeard's perception. At this time, on the edge of this town, a figure was hiding in the dark quietly releasing its fruit power. This figure is the Minister of Chocolate, and he is here to cooperate with Hody Jones. Suddenly, he felt a condescending chill, which seemed to cover him completely, making him unable to see through. Found it. Whitebeard's eyes showed sharp gazes. After Whitebeard perceives, he has locked the precise position of the Minister of Chocolate, and now, it is time to deal with him. Shirahoshi, go. Whitebeard immediately lifted Shirahoshi up with the force of the shaking, and then flew into the air. Advertisement. Ah. Leave him alone. Shirahoshi asked. You have to get rid of the guy behind the scenes first, Whitebeard said. If the Minister of Chocolate is left alone, then he can create countless chocolate substitutes for Hody Jones, which is undoubtedly a waste of time. Although Whitebeard is flying with Shirahoshi, the speed is extremely fast, and the Fishmen Island itself is not large. Therefore, soon, Whitebeard and Shirahoshi arrived outside the chocolate envoy's house. Come out the rat, Whitebeard said. What? He actually came, and he came so fast. The Minister of Chocolate was suddenly a little stunned. He didn't expect that Whitebeard could see through his tricks and found him directly, which was amazing. Hearing Whitebeard's voice, the Chocolate Minister's first thought was to escape first, because he did not face Whitebeard's power at all. If he really fights Whitebeard head-on, he will probably die the moment he touches. Moreover, the Minister of Chocolate's fruit ability is not suitable for melee combat at all, so he immediately used the fruit ability to create a chocolate clone of his own. The Minister of Chocolate wanted to use his clone to attract Whitebeard's attention, and he immediately took the opportunity to escape. So he immediately released his clone and provoked Whitebeard. Whitebeard, I am Ant's chocolate minister, do you want to go to war with Mom? Advertisement. If you dare to go to war with your mother, I promise that she will beat you to the point that you don't even have any scum left. Mom is very cruel. And you, the princess of the Fishman Island, dare to resist your mother's rule. When the Minister of Chocolate appeared in front of 947 Whitebeard and Shirahoshi, he kept provoking the two of them, wanting to provoke them, in order to delay time. You damn it guy, what do you say about ruling the Fishman Island? You don't even help us at all, and you support our enemies. Damn, it is absolutely amazing. Shirahoshi rebuked him loudly. Gum ha ha ha. Whitebeard laughed suddenly, not angry at all. This made Shirahoshi very confused. He immediately asked, Whitebeard, what's the matter with you? He is provoking us. You are still laughing here. Whitebeard immediately explained. You don't know, what I laughed is that this guy is still so arrogant in front of me and wants to use the fruit power to escape. As he said, Whitebeard's face immediately changed and became gloomy. Really? Don't you look at me, Whitebeard. Whitebeard's body instantly disappeared in place, and the next moment he appeared in front of the Minister of Chocolate who was trying to escape. When the chocolate minister saw Whitebeard's ghostly figure appeared in front of him, he was surprised and at a loss. His stand-in skills had no effect at all in front of Whitebeard, and Whitebeard did not give him a chance to speak, and punched him directly. The powerful shocking force burst out terrifying power, and at such a close distance, it directly shook the Minister of Chocolate into nothingness. Chapter 274. The Fishman Island is going to be destroyed. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After the death of the Minister of Chocolate, all his chocolate-related products disappeared, even his house and everything else disappeared. Because these were made by him with chocolate, they all disappeared together, disappeared cleanly. After eliminating the Minister of Chocolate, Shirahoshi felt immensely happy. He immediately said, then let's solve Hody Jones now. No hurry, let's deal with the Ants pirate group first. Whitebeard said. Although the Minister of Chocolate is the representative of the Fishman Island sent by the Ant, Whitebeard is now full of anger. He wants to explain all the Ants who came to the Fishman Island here. There is no other reason, just because the Minister of Chocolate is too arrogant, using his fruit ability to help Hody Jones in front of him. Whitebeard wants everyone to know the consequences of angering him, so that everyone who angers him will regret in hell. In the following time, Whitebeard did not take Shirahoshi, he himself came to the docking area of the Fishman Island at an extremely fast speed. Basically, they are all the boats of the inhabitants of the Fishman Island, and among them, there is another boat that is an ant, and there are some crew members who follow. Because they needed to repair and maintain the ship, they stayed here all the time. They didn't even know about the death of Minister Chaka. However, for them, Shinigami has quietly arrived. The shocking power of Whitebeard, at this moment, was like Shinigami's sickle. It not only knocked down the entire ship, but also caused the sea to ruin all the people on it. Advertisement. Originally Whitebeard wanted to keep one person and let him report the letter to the ant, but even if he didn't report, the ant would know sooner or later, so he didn't do anything extra. After solving these problems, Whitebeard returned to Shirahoshi's side, and then he was ready to deal with Hody Jones. However, they found that Hody had run away without a trace long ago, and had no idea where he was. That guy, he ran away when we were going to deal with the chocolate god tier. I don't know where to go. I have ordered the Poseidon army to release the arrest news, but there is no clue yet. Shirahoshi said. Because Hody could not be found. Jones, Whitebeard and Shirahoshi returned to the Dragon Palace Kingdom. Right now, the situation on the Fishman Island has been completely stabilized. Van der Daken X was arrested, and the pirate regiments of him and Hody Jones are also under control. The chocolate envoys sent by the ant were also resolved by Whitebeard, and now only Hody Jones was the one who slipped through the net. However, the Fishman Island has been tightly controlled by the Poseidon army. Hody Jones has no way to escape, and it is only a matter of time before he is discovered. And Whitebeard originally wanted to leave the Fishman Island. After all, the crisis has been lifted, and the remaining situation is enough for them to deal with by themselves. And he himself was delayed for so long, it was time to go back to preside over the overall situation, and now Whitebeard doesn't know what's the situation with Marco and them. However, for the sake of prudence, Whitebeard decided to get rid of Hody Jones completely before leaving. After all, Neptune has been persuading Whitebeard to say that he is worried about what Hody Jones will do too much, which will cause the destruction of the Fishmen Island. Although no one knows that Hody Jones does not have this ability, but this kind of worry still exists, and no one knows how he will reappear. Advertisement. Sure enough, the crisis really appeared. In the Dragon Palace Kingdom, the Poseidon army reported urgently that it turned out that Hody Jones didn't know what method to use to get Nose Boat into operation. However, it was not a normal driving, but the huge impact of Nose Boat to completely destroy the Fishmen Island. Hody Jones, this guy actually used Nose Boat. Neptune shouted nervously, his brain was blank. Nose Boat is equivalent to half the volume of the Fishmen Island. Even if it does not directly damage the Fishmen Island, the powerful destructive power it produces is enough to destroy the huge bubble membrane of the Fishmen Island. Losing the bubble film, the Fishmen Island will also be completely destroyed by the sea. This is absolutely an unimaginable disaster. How could it be? How could he move Noah, such a big volume? Shirahoshi was so nervous that he couldn't speak, and at the same time he had endless doubts. In fact, the ministers of the Dragon Palace Kingdom couldn't believe this, because Hody Jones was just a strong murloc with no fruit ability. He had no ability to move Nose Boat, let alone use Nose Boat to hit the Fishmen Island. It may not be possible to just shake Nose Boat, and now, this fact appears in front of everyone. The Fishmen Island was in turmoil soon. Near the area hit by Nose Boat, all the residents had already turned to the other side. However, even so, those people still feel desperate. Although the huge Nose Boat is coming in at a seemingly slow speed, the time will never be slow. What to do? Is the Fishmen Island going to be completely wiped out? It's over, the Fishmen Island will definitely be destroyed, and we will all die. How could this happen? Is there no way? Advertisement. What can be done? That is Nose Boat, who can stop it? All the residents on the Fishmen Island behaved very negatively. In this environment, no one can show an optimistic attitude. The appearance of Nose ship also attracted the attention of marine battleships, but they were not facing the direction of Nose impact directly, but on the side. Look, what is that? What a big black spot. On the marine battleship, a bored soldier leaning on the mast and watching suddenly saw something and said, Noma Jiao. Afterwards, more and more soldiers gathered, and they were surprised to find that it was actually a huge ship. Damn it, this is too terrible, who did it? Such a big guy. If you rush over, the Fishmen Island is probably gone. The king of the Fishmen Island, what should they do? If they can't stop it, we will also be affected. That's for sure. It's better to retreat now. At this distance, the entire army will be wiped out. At this time, someone expressed doubt. But, we are retreating now, disobeying the order without authorization. Whitebeard let us guard here, not allowed to move. Although the order is like this, most people always want to escape and will not be in danger. So listen to what Whitebeard said, you are Marine, don't forget your identity. Chapter 275. The Legendary Poseidon. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Of course first am Marine, but the Marine government's order is first to obey Whitebeard's order, and I am carrying out the Marine government's order. This Marine soldier was very straightforward, and he still stood up and confronted everyone when the other soldiers were in favor of fleeing. Their positions are not high or low, and they do not have a small team leader. Therefore, their argument has no result, and they can't command anyone when they sleep. However, the number of advantages is fatal. Everyone agrees to flee, and he is the only one who insists on staying behind. This situation is simply beyond his control. In the end, everyone ignored the soldier, all doing their own thing, controlling the battleship to move slowly. Seeing that his opposition had no effect, the soldier was also a little angry, and he immediately jumped out of the battleship. That idiot is too dangerous, what does he want to do? Others expressed their incomprehension and scolded him for being an idiot. Regardless of him, let's leave as soon as possible. The warship continued to sail outward. The soldier ignored the others, and immediately found San Juan after he jumped down. 947. San Juan was lying on the ground and sleeping. Marine soldiers first jumped on his belly, and then stepped up and down, trying to wake San Juan. However, San Juan's belly is too thick, like a huge rubber, to San Juan, this feels nothing. Later, The marine soldiers ran into San Juan's ear canal and yelled at it, which awakened San Juan. What's wrong? San Juan was awakened all of a sudden, then sat up and said. Advertisement. The marine soldier lay on San Juan's ear and said, "You finally woke up. The warships are all gone. Go and stop them. Run. Stop it. What are you talking about?" San Juan just woke up, still a little confused. The marine soldiers had to explain it patiently. Although San Juan was still confused, they did not listen to Whitebeard's words, which made San Juan a little angry. "I obeyed Whitebeard's arrangement and didn't leave here in one step, but those guys actually wanted to leave secretly." This made San Juan totally intolerable, so he took the marine soldiers and chased him immediately. At this moment, San Juan was full of energy. He was swimming very fast, and immediately chased 5 warships and stopped them. "What are you doing? Get out of the way!" The Marines yelled. Anyone who doesn't listen to the old man needs a lesson," San Juan said grumpily, and then began to make huge waves in the sea. After all, San Juan's body is much more flexible than a real battleship, and it can make many movements underwater. Under the influence of San Juan, those warships were unable to stabilize and were shaking constantly. The soldiers on the battleships were stumbling and unable to control the battleships. At this time, San Juan began to use artificial waves to push those battleships back. "Damn it, do you know that there is going to be danger here? You need to get out of here as soon as possible," the soldier on the battleship shouted. "I just know that Dad didn't let you go." San Juan couldn't listen to them at all. "Damn it. This fellow, will we all die here?" The marine soldiers felt desperate. Advertisement. And at this tense moment, Whitebeard's figure suddenly appeared. He originally came to stop No's boat, but he saw the movement here. "San Juan, what are you doing?" Whitebeard asked. "It's Daddy. These people want to escape. I'm stopping them," San Juan replied immediately. "Escape? It's normal to want to evacuate in danger, but you don't believe me, Whitebeard." "What kind of danger is this?" Whitebeard said to everyone. "ABFA." Facing Whitebeard's words, the marine soldiers immediately calmed down, and San Juan stopped moving. Whitebeard then flew in the direction of No's boat. The huge hull made Whitebeard appear extremely small in front of it. However, this seemingly insignificant figure gave out a tremendous amount of power, and the powerful shaking power opened like a huge net. The sea has begun to surging violently, and a strong collision that is about to occur has made many people who are paying attention to this matter nervous. Neptune, Shirahoshi and others all came to the scene in person to cheer for Whitebeard. "Father, can Whitebeard stop No's boat? Such a large size, such a large force." Although he has seen some of Whitebeard's abilities, Shirahoshi still feels that this time is full of crisis. Neptune didn't have the confidence, but he still comforted. "Don't worry, that is the future One Piece Whitebeard, the most powerful man in this era." However, with such a large force, even if Whitebeard stops the ship of Noah will cause some damage, Shirahoshi said with some worry. No matter what kind of result, it is not easy for Shirahoshi to accept. She does not want Noah to be destroyed. Advertisement. After all, Shirahoshi already thought in his heart that No's boat belonged to Whitebeard, and Shirahoshi also planned to join the Whitebeard pirate group. But if No's boat is destroyed, then for Shirahoshi, it would be like a dream shattered. And because of the nervousness and anxiety, Shirahoshi's mood was elevated to the extreme, and some subtle spatial fluctuations began to appear around her body. This is because this seems to be a way of power awakening, the power that Shirahoshi is born with, but it hasn't really been used yet. Shirahoshi, is she finally awakening this power? This is really the hope of the Murlocs, Neptune exclaimed with anticipation. The fluctuations around Shirahoshi became more and more obvious, and more intense. In the end, Shirahoshi's emotions reached its peak when No's boat collided with Whitebeard's shocking force, and she could not control this force. A special frequency spread out from Shirahoshi's burst of power, and then instantly calmed down. Even Shirahoshi himself didn't know what was going on. What's wrong?" Shirahoshi said with some confusion. During this period, a strong ocean current followed, and the collision between No's boat and Whitebeard's shock force produced huge fluctuations. Even the Fishmen Island also caused some shaking, which made everyone in a state of panic. Quote. Neptune felt very surprised instantly after feeling the fluctuation. Chapter 276. formally joined the Whitebeard pirates. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The huge power friends made the entire The Fishmen Island sway continuously. Everyone showed uneasy emotions, but No's boat was successfully prevented from moving forward by Whitebeard's shocking force. When the strong pressure water flowed through, Neptune and others saw that No's boat stopped steadily, very stable. But Whitebeard was unscathed, he didn't even seem to breathe, he was very calm and composed. Great, it's finally all right, Neptune said excitedly. Although the threat of No's boat was lifted, there was an unusual wave in the sea immediately, which also attracted the attention of Whitebeard. It seems that it is an animal with a huge body, moving in this direction, causing violent fluctuations in the sea. As this, Whitebeard flew over immediately, but the sight in front of him surprised him. Several sea kings that appeared in the ocean gathered from different directions, and the destination of their gathering seemed to be Shirahoshi's direction. Did Shirahoshi summon it? Whitebeard immediately looked in Shirahoshi's direction and found that it was her. Shirahoshi really succeeded. She successfully summoned the Sea Kings. Neptune was also amazed at this sight. Sea Kings, it's Sea Kings. Neptune screamed in surprise. The ability that has never appeared before is reappeared in Shirahoshi's body today. Advertisement. After the Sea Kings swam over, they quickly gathered around Shirahoshi and began to move around it. Shirahoshi has a dazed look. She has no idea what the situation is now, because she has never been told about this ability, so she doesn't understand at all. Great, Shirahoshi, you are the hope of our Murlocs. Neptune was so moved that he almost cried, and he proudly said to Shirahoshi. Master Father, what is going on? Why are there so many Sea Kings? Shirahoshi asked with a puzzled look. They were all summoned by you. Whitebeard flew over and said to her. I called it. Shirahoshi was even more puzzled. Yes, remember what I asked you to do before? Whitebeard asked with a smile. What do you want me to do? Oh, yes, do you want me to tug the boat? Shirahoshi thought for a while and wanted to say. And just after speaking, Shirahoshi suddenly realized, that's it, so you already knew that this is my ability. You mean to let these Sea Kings come to tug the boat? Guhahaha. Really smart. Yes, that's it. Summoning Sea Kings is your innate ability. This is a gift from heaven to you. You who possess this ability will be the sweet girl of the sea. So you are qualified enough to board my Whitebeard ship. Now I officially invite you. Would you like to join the Whitebeard pirate group? At this moment, Whitebeard sent an invitation to Shirahoshi very seriously. Regarding this invitation, Whitebeard had already spoken to Neptune before, and Neptune was very in favor. You know that this is Whitebeard's invitation. His daughter joins the Whitebeard pirate group, which means that he can receive the most powerful protection, and he can swim all the seas. And now, the most important thing is Shirahoshi's own thoughts. Advertisement. Shirahoshi fell into silence at once, she didn't answer immediately, she seemed a little embarrassed. This makes Neptune a little strange. He thought Shirahoshi would immediately agree, because from her previous attitude, she liked Whitebeard very much. But now he appeared to be hesitant, so Neptune immediately asked with concern, Shirahoshi, do you not want to follow the Whitebeard pirates? If you don't want to, just say it, we all respect your meaning. After talking about Neptune, he also took a look at Whitebeard, and Whitebeard also nodded and said, I have said before, this will not be forced, and even if you do not join, I will welcome you to be a guest in the future. Whitebeard was very generous, but Shirahoshi immediately explained, no, I want to join, I want to join. As soon as these words came out, Neptune and Whitebeard looked at each other, and Neptune immediately asked, if you are willing, why are you so embarrassed? I'm a little bit upset. If I join the Whitebeard pirates, I won't be able to play in the Fishman Island often. Shirahoshi whispered. So it is. Neptune immediately understood Shirahoshi's thoughts. It is true, after all, Shirahoshi grew up here and has never taken a half step out of the Fishman Island. And now, I have to follow Whitebeard's words and leave. Although this is a choice, it has to give up a lot of things. 0 Seeking flowers. Point 0. So this made Shirahoshi feel very contradictory, and therefore a little bit disappointed. But joining the Whitebeard pirate group, this is Shirahoshi's unchangeable mind. So even though she was lost for a while, Shirahoshi did not show sustained sadness. She knew that she had to accept the reality and life could not be perfect. Soon Shirahoshi gradually calmed down some emotions. She gradually became cheerful, and then ran to play happily with those sea kings. Advertisement. Shirahoshi was swimming freely in the sea, and the sea kings were constantly swimming around her, making some noises from time to time. They are so happy, Shirahoshi said. Shirahoshi and sea kings were having fun, but Whitebeard still remembered one important thing. That's Hody Jones. This guy has caused such a disaster, but his people have never shown up. Although the disaster has been resolved, the culprit, of course, Whitebeard can't let go. This time, even if Hody Jones fled to the end of the world, Whitebeard would get him out. I saw Whitebeard spread his shock power quickly in the form of sound waves, and there was no harm effect, but it could have a great induction effect. This kind of sound wave induction can directly bring a similar positioning effect to Whitebeard, but even Whitebeard has also searched in the Sea of Madara barge, and this has locked Hody Jones. I found you. Whitebeard disappeared in place as soon as he locked Hody Jones. With a body shape like lightning, without any resistance from the water, Whitebeard's figure quickly flickered in front of Hody Jones. This is a gloomy trench, not very deep, but somewhat hidden. Hody Jones faced Whitebeard nervously. His sudden arrival made Hody Jones even forget how to breathe. Before Whitebeard came to the Fishmen Island, Hody Jones was still awe-inspiring. He was the captain of the new Murloc pirate group. He won the support of the Ants' envoys and controlled the Dragon Palace Kingdom. He is waiting for the appropriate actual launch of power. But in a short period of 2 days, everything has changed, and it has changed drastically, which makes Hody Jones completely unacceptable. And Chapter 277. Shirahoshi joins the team. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You do it, Hody Jones said coldly while looking at Whitebeard. Although full of fear, Hody Jones has only one dead end now, so it's better to let Whitebeard start a bit more simply. Oh, are you quite calm? Whitebeard said, a little surprised at Hody Jones' calm tone. Of course, I am the strongest among the Murlocs. Whitebeard said. The most powerful? Not necessarily, but I still know a Jinbei named Seaman. Whitebeard said slightly. Hody Jones showed an expression of dissatisfaction, and he immediately shouted, what are you doing so much? Anyway, I can't escape. You can kill me as soon as possible. Well, I want to kill you, because you are very sinful. Do you know what kind of disaster you have unleashed? By who? 947 glared at him and said. Hody Jones has an indifferent attitude and said casually. I know, but I don't care, because the people here have changed, and they are all getting close to that hateful human. I am not interested in your hatred, but because of this hatred, I will destroy my own people, and I am afraid that hell will not take you in. Whitebeard said coldly. Humph. Hody Jones didn't answer, but snorted coldly. Whitebeard frowned slightly, and blasted Hody Jones out with a fist in the air, although Whitebeard just wanted to teach him a lesson, and didn't use much power. Advertisement. But under such a heavy injury, Hody Jones' body almost fell apart. At the same time, he suffered a great internal injury and vomited blood. Don't be arrogant in front of me. Whitebeard said lightly. He hates someone arrogantly in front of him. Hody Jones didn't have the strength to answer anything, he was already a little confused. Whitebeard shook his head and took the badly injured Hody Jones back. Whitebeard handed Hody Jones to Neptune, who then locked Hody and Van der Dakenix together. The collapse of the two large pirate groups made the Fishmen Island celebrate the whole country, and everyone was celebrating their freedom and peace. On this day, King Neptune gave a speech. He warmly thanked Whitebeard and officially announced to all residents that the Fishmen Island was officially under the jurisdiction of Whitebeard. And Whitebeard's request for the Fishmen Island is very simple, and that is to ask Shirahoshi to join his pirate group. This so-called request can be said to be very simple, it's just a cutscene, because Shirahoshi had agreed to Whitebeard to join his pirate group. This is equivalent to that Whitebeard and the Fishmen Island do not have any tribute requirements. Generally speaking, if a pirate group guards a piece of land, it must collect benefits. That is protection money, or gold and silver treasures, or food resources, etc., but Whitebeard does not need anything, as long as Shirahoshi joins his pirate group. This can be said to be a great blessing. Few pirate groups can achieve this level, or none at all. Therefore, in order to express his gratitude to Whitebeard, King Neptune directly declared Whitebeard as the hero of the Fishmen Island, enjoying the lofty honor and status. Advertisement. Neptune's move undoubtedly listed Whitebeard as the object of worship in the hearts of the residents of the Fishmen Island, and even let the descendants of the Murlocs remember the name Whitebeard. For a kingdom, this is absolutely unprecedented, because the pirates, in a sense, are not yet recognized by the Dunya. Therefore, in the history of the entire kingdom, adding the name of a pirate and listing it as the supreme honor, Neptune obviously suffered a lot of pressure. But he still chose to do this for nothing else. He felt that Whitebeard must be an extremely dazzling existence in the future. At that time, I am afraid the world will look up. Although Whitebeard is already very dazzling now, this is different from what Neptune had in mind. What Neptune thinks is that Whitebeard has fully unified the sea, even affected the world government, and changed the pattern of the entire world. Neptune didn't dare to think deeply, because it was too scary. After all, the authority of the world government is not so easy to move. Known as the most evil man in the world, the dragon who led the revolutionary army to resist the world government, although the revolution has been for many years, it has never touched the foundation of the world government. However, since communicating with Whitebeard, Neptune has this hunch: Whitebeard may have this idea, and his strength can also be achieved. So, if Whitebeard really achieves such a step, is he just a simple pirate? In the eyes of later generations, I am afraid that he is the king who changes the world. This can be regarded as a kind of investment by Neptune. In this way, coupled with Shirahoshi's entry, it strengthens the connection with Whitebeard. However, even if Whitebeard did not do that step, it was definitely the One Piece who ruled the sea, so Neptune was very firm about it. At the same time as the nationwide carnival, King Neptune also announced the disposition of Hody Jones and Van der Daken Ix. Advertisement. Because these two guys are guilty of crimes, the citizens hope that these two guys will be sentenced heavily. However, the death penalty was not supported on the Fishmen Island. In the end, Hody Jones and Van der Daken Ix were sentenced to life imprisonment. As for the other Murlocs who followed the two of them, they were all sentenced to labor reforms and contributed to the Fishmen Island in order to mitigate crimes. Regarding the judgment made by the Fishmen Island, Whitebeard would naturally not intervene. Both Hody Jones and Van der Daken Ix were escorted to the prison tower. And when the carnival was not over, Whitebeard decided to leave here because he had lost too much time. And the matter has been perfectly resolved, so after Shirahoshi bid farewell to his family, he was ready to leave with Whitebeard 5.0. When leaving, Whitebeard was on the Noah, and Shirahoshi summoned 3 huge sea kings to drag the Noah forward. With such a big ship, Shirahoshi and San Juan can walk on it freely, life and so on, very chic. Moreover, in order to make Shirahoshi feel at ease, Whitebeard also brought her hard-shell tower to Shirahoshi's place of life. In this way, Whitebeard, Shirahoshi, and San Juan rode on Noah, followed by 5 marine warships, and left the Fishmen Island mightily like a huge fleet. After a period of sailing, they successfully came to the surface of the water. I have joined your pirate group now. Do I have to change my title to you now? Shirahoshi asked on the boat. Chapter 278. Buster Call reappears. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Join the Whitebeard pirates, then you have to call daddy like me. San Juan said to Shirahoshi. Father. Haha. Doesn't this make you too old? Shirahoshi said with a smile. All right, old captain. Maybe it was because he had never contacted the pirate group. Shirahoshi added the word captain in front of old man. Guhahaha. It's very interesting. I like this name very much. Whitebeard said with a smile. Whitebeard doesn't really matter what it is called, but since Shirahoshi was on board, the boring atmosphere on board has also changed a lot. Because Shirahoshi often said something funny and made Whitebeard laugh. While returning to New World, Whitebeard also reorganized the marine soldiers. Whitebeard has heard San Juan say what happened that day. A marine soldier reported that his companion had fled without authorization. This shows that this man is quite disciplined. Whitebeard found the marine soldier and saw that he was well balanced, as if he had practiced some fighting skills, and he became interested in 01. What's your name? Whitebeard asked. Report. My name is Wentai. The soldier replied quickly. Wentai, I heard about your previous behavior. Everyone wanted to escape, and it was indeed dangerous at the time. But why do you insist on staying behind? What is more important than your own life? Advertisement. Whitebeard asked questioningly, but, facing Whitebeard, Wentai's tone did not weaken at all, but replied more firmly. First, I'm a marine soldier, and it is a bounden duty for a soldier to obey orders. Furthermore, I also believe that you can deal with that kind of crisis, and the Fishman Island will not be destroyed by this. Then Wentai added. Whitebeard's eyes flashed a little, and there was a slight acquiescence to him. Your superior asked you to obey my orders, so now you are obeying my orders. Actually still obey your superior's orders? Whitebeard asked again. Yes. Wentai answered without even thinking about it. So, as a marine soldier, do you feel resistant to obeying my orders? Whitebeard asked. This question immediately made Wentai hesitate. He already had his own answer in his heart, but he still had some contradictions. I don't resist, because I have my own thoughts. Wentai answered after a while of silence. Oh. Whitebeard suddenly became interested. Then tell me what your thoughts are like. Why don't you resist? Marine and the pirate are not opposites. When Whitebeard was talking to Wentai, the other marine soldiers were watching from a distance, and their moods were very complicated. On the one hand, they are eager to have such close contact with Whitebeard. After all, Whitebeard is now their immediate leader. Maybe the marine government will summon them to obtain them in the future, but before that, they must all obey Whitebeard's words. So, if you can establish some relationship with Whitebeard, then it must be beneficial. On the one hand, they felt deeply jealous and resentful towards Wentai, thinking that Wentai must have been favored by Whitebeard by virtue of what happened last time. Advertisement. Therefore, these people began to regret in their hearts, regretting that they should be the same as him at that time. Regarding Whitebeard's question, Wentai first glanced at the other soldiers who were watching them, and hesitated. Wentai was worried that his remarks would be reported to the Haojun government in the future, but after thinking twice, he decided to open his mind to Whitebeard. I think the opposition between the pirate and marine is only in order, not in identity. Wentai first came to a conclusion, which looked a little deep. This makes Whitebeard feel that he is not a simple marine soldier, and is honestly used as a tool of the marine government. He should have his own mind and know how to think. This made Whitebeard very appreciated and wanted to understand his thoughts even more. Well, tell me specifically what you think. Whitebeard nodded, motioning for him to continue. First of all, because of Roger's death declaration, people rushed to the sea, thus opening the era of great navigation. Under such an environment, pirates surge up like a swarm of bees, but among them there are many evil people who burn and rob people. In the face of such pirates, the marine government must of course severely crack down on them, so as to protect people's peaceful lives. Although the pirates have long been regarded as a complete whole, there are also some pirates who are beneficial to the world. I think that fighting against pirates should depend on what bad things the pirate did, not just because of the identity of a pirate. Wentai was like a flood when the gate was opened. He told Whitebeard a lot of what he had buried in his heart. Advertisement. What is marine? What is a pirate? And what is justice? This is what Wentai often thinks about, and has never said it to anyone. But now, facing the apex of a pirate, the king of the sea, Whitebeard, Wentai can stand in front of him and say these things. He feels dead without regret. After hearing what Wentai said, Whitebeard also showed his admiring eyes. This ordinary marine has his own thinking and his own opinions. This is very rare under the strictly controlled marine government. If he is not weak in fighting, Whitebeard would like to draw him into the group of pirates. That's right, as an ordinary marine soldier, I didn't expect you to have this consciousness, but there is another truth. I don't know if you understand it or not, Whitebeard said. What? Wentai asked. Being in your position and seeking your own position requires what kind of mental awareness in any position, but your current mental awareness is obviously higher than your current position. Do you think you can change anything? Whitebeard asked. But I don't want to change anything. I know I don't have this power. Wentai replied. Since you don't want to change, then why do you want to join Marine? The Marine government restricts your mind. Do you know Buster Call? Whitebeard became serious. Buster Call. At this point, Wentai also choked up, because this has always been a pain in his heart. The Marine government, sometimes, does not pay all for justice, but while pursuing this justice, I am afraid that it has already moved towards the opposite of justice. Wentai also knows some hateful things about the world government, such as celestial dragon slaves. Those slaves are so pitiful. They were arrested innocently, and they have to be imprinted on them that cannot be erased in a lifetime. Chapter 279. Go to New World again. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. But Wentai really can't do anything, and can only be an ordinary marine soldier. There is no power, but there is this kind of ideological consciousness. This is a kind of pain. Either make yourself pain or make a change. This kind of change, but your own compromise, can also change the world. Standing in front of Wentai, Whitebeard's words shocked his heart. Is it really possible to change the world? It's better than Roger, the One Piece King. It was just like that. Rebelling like a revolutionary army dragon, running around for many years, but it didn't really affect the rule of the world government. Wentai expressed doubts. Whitebeard turned slightly, looked at the distant sea, and said softly, as long as you keep going, you will always reach your destination, right? Wentai was once again shocked to his heart. He had a strong impulse to follow Whitebeard's impulse, where there was a glimmer of sunny hope to realize his dream. As a marine, if you can grow to the height of admiral, you may also have some influence, but compared to the will of the government, I am afraid that the influence will be minimal, and the foundation will not be shaken at all. Also, let alone whether you can grow to the height of admiral. Whitebeard turned around and continued to say to him. Wentai also fell into deep thought, and began to think about what he was going to do, and would he only be an ordinary soldier for the rest of his life? This might be possible. Originally, he only wanted an ordinary life, but that is not true freedom, it is not true for the people. Such a life must be painful in the future. If I have strength. Wentai couldn't help clenching his fists. In the past, he had been fortunate enough to get some guidance from marine heroes, Garp, and learn Marine 6 styles, but because it is extremely demanding on the body. Therefore, he did not persevere, and now, Wentai hates why he didn't make a huge effort at that time. If he worked hard, he would at least be better than ordinary soldiers. With the ability, the position can be gradually promoted to the school lieutenant, and then continuously promoted. Advertisement. How about, do you want to join the Whitebeard Pirates? Whitebeard directly invited without any preparation. Vintai was shocked at once. He didn't expect that Whitebeard would actually ask him to join the pirates, and Marine to join the pirates. I'm a Marine, Wentai said after a moment of silence. I know, I'm asking you, would you like to join my pirate group? Follow me, you will maximize your ability and will. Whitebeard said. But I'm Marine. Wentai insisted on this. Does this matter? Didn't you just say that Marine and the pirate are not opposite in identity, but now you are limited by this, can't you? Whitebeard said. Hey ha ha ha, man, do it bravely and be firm if you have any ideas. Whitebeard laughed. Whitebeard could see that Wentai wanted to join his pirate group, but he couldn't convince himself. He hoped Whitebeard's words would convince himself. Now, Whitebeard's words were like a tranquilizer, which made Ventai calm down and gradually strengthened his heart. He faced Whitebeard, his eyes gradually firmed, and said to him, I am willing to join your pirate group. Okay. Very good. From now on you will call me daddy like them. Whitebeard said with a smile. But I have one more request. Wentai added immediately. What's the requirement? Whitebeard asked. I hope to get a devil fruit. Wentai said. Advertisement. Although Wentai can strengthen the training of Marine 6 styles, it is more straightforward to have a devil fruit if you want rapid development. Okay. I promise you. Whitebeard nodded immediately. When Wentai joined Whitebeard's pirate group, the Marine soldiers were stunned. They had no idea that things would turn out to be like this. The Marine soldiers joined the pirate group in such a grand manner, which is undoubtedly an insult to Marine. Shall we report to the Marine government? I think we will consider it when we successfully return to the Marine government. These Marine soldiers decided not to hit the report after discussing it, because they are all in Whitebeard now, and it is obviously not good to hit the report secretly. At most, some information that must be made public is reported, such as the incident on the Fishmen Island. Wentai joined the Whitebeard pirates and boarded No's boat with Whitebeard. Shirahoshi suddenly curiously said, Wow, Marine brother. I am no longer Marine, I am a pirate like you now. Wentai said shyly. Ah, that's it, you are so welcome, it's fair to say, I just joined, please give me more advice in the future. Shirahoshi said with a smile. Please advise. Wentai also answered politely. You too, what position should you arrange in the future? Whitebeard said, wanting to ask them what they think. Neither of them are suitable as captains, and Shirahoshi's ability is suitable as a support. It doesn't matter. I will do whatever position my father arranges for me. I am very obedient. Shirahoshi said. Advertisement. I also obey the arrangement. Wentai also said. Well, you too, Shirahoshi, how about you being the guardian of Noah's boat? Whitebeard said. Let Shirahoshi be in charge of Noah, this is definitely very suitable, usually there is basically no battle, and it sounds very stylish. Okay. Okay. Shirahoshi looked very happy. The guardian, it sounds very interesting and attractive to girls. Well, Wentai, you are my personal guard, how about Nuo Ma Jiao? Whitebeard said. Then I can only stay by your side all the time. Wentai asked Daoyi with some concern. Silly boy, of course you don't need to be by your side in peacetime, you can go out and walk at will. Whitebeard said. Well, I will obey the arrangement. Wentai readily agreed. San Juan on the side was immediately unhappy, and immediately said, No, father, didn't you say that I was responsible for protecting you last time? You and Wabel are my two great guardians, and Wentai is a close guard, not the same. Whitebeard explained. It turned out to be like this, then it's okay. It's really a shame to say it. Shirahoshi sighed suddenly. What's the matter? Whitebeard asked. Leaving the Fishman Island this time, I didn't say goodbye to Jinbei boss, and didn't see him. I'm a little regretful. I don't know where he is now. Shirahoshi said helplessly. Chapter 280. Ant's Wrath. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Jinbei. I really didn't see him when I came to the Fishman Island this time. Maybe I have something of my own. Whitebeard said. For Jinbei, this guy, he also has some appreciation. Hey, the Fishman Island is dangerous. Jinbei boss will not ignore it. He may be in trouble. You don't know, Jinbei boss is kind to us. Shirahoshi said with some worry. If there is a chance, how about I pull him into the pirate group together? Whitebeard joked. Okay, that's great, Jinbei boss is very good. Shirahoshi was very happy. However, at this time, Jinbei's condition is not very good, and time goes back to before the crisis of the Fishman Island. When Jinbei heard that Horty Jones and Van der Daken X had the idea of launching a coup, he personally persuaded them to try to resolve everything peacefully. However, due to the protection of the chocolate envoys, this also involved the Ants' forces. Jinbei was weak and could not stop them. So Jinbei personally went to the Ants' territory, trying to persuade the Ant to intervene in the Fishman Island. At that time, the Ant had not received the news of Whitebeard's visit to the Fishman Island. She obviously didn't care about Jinbei's words. Jinbei, I admire you very much, but it doesn't mean that I appreciate the entire 947 the Fishman Island, the internal affairs of the Fishman Island, and it's not in my control. That's how the Ant said to Jinbei. Angrily, Jinbei wanted to withdraw from the Ant's pirate group, but for this powerful combat power, the Ant was obviously reluctant to let it go easily. Therefore, Jinbei was trapped on the Fishman Island and he could not return to the Fishman Island. During the trapped period, Jinbei also learned some news. For example, Whitebeard personally went to the Fishman Island to intervene in the political dispute within the Fishman Island, and declared the Fishman Island to be under his own jurisdiction. Hearing that the crisis of the Fishman Island had passed, Jinbei was relieved, but the Ant was furious because of it. Advertisement. Damn, it's Newgate. Whitebeard killed my minister of chocolate. For a period of time after receiving the news, the Ant was in a state of anger every day because she was too angry. Whitebeard killed her minister of chocolate, which means that Whitebeard didn't care about her face at all, and didn't take her seriously. This makes the Ant feel that she has been greatly insulted. How can the Ant be so insulted and have no reaction at all? ABFA, the Ant wanted to fight Whitebeard when she was angry. Although she didn't do so, the Ant also started to gather her capable cadres. Whitebeard in that place, I won't let him go like that. The Ant gritted her teeth. I hope I don't start a war easily. Jinbei said slowly. Huh. The Ant's eyes returned to Jinbei. At this time, Jinbei was locked in a cage in the book. Jinbei, do you still want to leave? I don't have the patience to play with you anymore. If you want to leave, I will leave. I won't force you to stay here, but you must at least leave something. While the Ant said, she showed a sulky look. She seemed to be planning to give up Jinbei. Jinbei knew very well what the Ant was talking about. He knew from the beginning that it was not so easy to leave the Ant pirate group, and it would definitely cost some money. And the price depends on the mood of the Ant. No, to be precise, it all depends on luck. In a corner of the room, there is a rotatable disc, which is marked with many patterns: hands, feet, eyes, ears, and other parts of the human body. Aunts often use this method to punish some subordinates who have made mistakes. When the disc rotates, the position where the pointer points when it stops is the price that person has to pay. Advertisement. However, even with clear guidance on this point, Jinbei seemed very calm at this time. As a Murloc seaman, he was also a man who had experienced a lot of storms. This price is absolutely acceptable to him. At least, there is still a chance of leaving the ant pirate group. This is enough. I accept. Jinbei said lightly. Very well, then let's take a look. The ant showed a trace of death-like killing intent, and she ordered someone to take the disc over. However, just as the ant was about to turn the disc, the door was suddenly opened. Mom, the Desert 3 generals have been summoned, and there are 10 ministers, all on standby. Baron Dandon came in and reported. Although she didn't plan to fight Whitebeard directly, the majesty of the 4 emperors could not be trampled on. The ant felt that she had to shock Whitebeard. Otherwise, this guy just defeated some marines, and he would feel invincible in the world. The ant said immediately. Okay, ready to go right away. Quote. Wait. Jinbei shouted immediately, and he realized that this was an opportunity. Huh, Jinbei, your business, wait until I come back to deal with it. The ant's energy at the moment is focused on dealing with Whitebeard. I want to go with you. Jinbei said immediately. Oh, the ant's face changed suddenly and asked, have you changed your mind? You should need manpower now, I hope I can do something for you. Jinbei said calmly. Advertisement. Let him out. The ant ordered in silence for a while. Jinbei was released immediately, and the ant brought her huge face closer. Jinbei, if you are loyal, then I will treat you well, but if you dare to betray me, then I will definitely not let it go. Yours. At the end of the day, the ant's face was also unusually cold, but it only recovered in an instant. Jinbei has become accustomed to this as well, and he nodded without fluctuation. Since the ant didn't want to fight Whitebeard, but just wanted to deter him, she only took one ship, which was her chant. But the ship is full of its own main force, the 3 desert stars are all there, there are 10 other ministers, and Jinbei, the combat power can be described as very luxurious. When the ant left, Whitebeard had already returned to his territory. When Marco and the others saw Whitebeard returning on the huge Noah, they were all stunned while greeted. Father, what a big boat, what is this? Marco flew up from a distance and asked. Noah, in the future, this will be the ship of our Whitebeard pirates sailing the world. Whitebeard said. Awesome. Marco exclaimed. But the news about Noah should be kept secret as much as possible and will be hidden in the future. Whitebeard said. Well, this is too good, Sea Kings dragged in front. Marco exclaimed. Whitebeard's 18 captains all led his subordinates neatly lined up to greet them, and the scene seemed very grand.